What's up and what is going on, fellow fanatics? It has been a while and I do apologize for that. As you guys all know, I have said a few times before, I am moving. And in the process of moving, I am getting together this room and taking down everything in the studio to where the only thing that's going to be left is just where I sit, this microphone and the camera, and I guess the stuff behind me so it doesn't look like complete shit. But when we move and I move into the new home, it will look completely different with a whole new vibe and everything like that. So definitely apologize for not being live. There's so much news and so much things that we need to catch up on, and not just news that we need to catch up on, just kind of hanging out with you guys. I kind of wanted to do a tier list today too. I know we just did one with Chill and Q when he was here with us on the Pantheon stream, but I kind of wanted to do another one. Um, kind of throw in the more conversation about it more than we did, the three of us, and then kind of throw in some of the series too that Marvel has done. So I wanted to do a tier list, wanted to talk about some DC stuff, wanted to talk about some Marvel stuff, wanted to talk about Beau's ass, wanted to talk about a few more things. Some Star Wars news, never good there. So yeah, there's definitely some things we wanted to get into. I also wanted to do a review over this, but again, time. I just haven't had the time to get in here, and I hate coming in the studio. I'm gonna be honest with you. I hate it right now sitting in, not being with you guys, but the fact of being in this studio, and I absolutely hate this studio so much. Like it's hot as fuck in here right now, and it's because I don't have the AC on because it'll come through. I just don't like this room. I don't like the studio, and I can't. I'm gonna miss my house. I've been here 4 years. I really am gonna miss my home. But it's time to move. She is selling the home, so there's nothing I can do about that unless I bought it, and I don't want to. That's not something I'm in the market of trying to do at the moment. But um, yeah, so I'm ready to move just so I can get back to some normalcy. I can get back to some things that are in my control right now. My house is in chaos, and I hate that. I'm not a person that lives in chaos like that. I'm a person that everything in my house has a place, and I know where it is. And when my house is in disarray, I feel like my life is in disarray. So I apologize for me not being here. Like I said, I'm trying to get it all together. So I appreciate everybody being here, Brother Stark. I appreciate you as always being here. Andre, as always, appreciate you. Professor the Film Fan. Dexter, appreciate you being here as well. Chill, we spoke before. I came on live, and I appreciate you tuning into this live stream as well. Chill kind of announced this already on Twitter that he is going to be live tomorrow with Dre Mac. So he will be discussing some things. What's up, Gray? Appreciate you being here. He's going to be discussing some things, discussing this Beau Demayo stuff with Dre Mac tomorrow. K Dot is also going to, I believe, show up. Xavier Phoenix, appreciate you being here as well, is also going to show up and speak. So there's just some, yeah. And I'm going to say some things today. And if I can jump in tomorrow, I would like to. If I have the time to jump in tomorrow on their stream, I'm going to jump in and kind of give some thoughts, whatever I might repeat or echo what I say here today. But the first thing that I want to get into before anything is the last Sunday I went and saw Speak No Evil. And I wanted to do a review over this, but again, time. So last Sunday I went and saw Speak No Evil with James McAvoy, and obviously James McAvoy plays in Split, and he does what they said. They said in this film of Speak No Evil was way his performance. He outdid his performance in Split with his performance in Speak No Evil. I won't say that he outdid his performance in Split, but his performance in Speak No Evil was phenomenal. Speak No Evil was a phenomenal film. I haven't been in the theater in a long time where I was wincing. I was like in the edge of my seat, on the corner of my seat. Every emotion I felt like that you could feel in a film like that, you felt. I was happy. I was scared. I was sad. I was I was panicked. There were so many different emotions in that film, and it's such a good film. I really do want to go see it again. It is a really, really, really good film. And like I said, I wanted to do more of a review on it and kind of pull up the film itself on the website there that I use and kind of go through some different scenes. But takeaways for me from that film, I believe, were the wife. And actually, you know what? Since like I said, I haven't been here in a while. I owe it to you guys to stream and kind of go into detail on things. So why not pull it up? We're not playing it because obviously can't do that. Cannot play the movie, but I can go through here. If you have not seen Speak No Evil, and you don't want to be spoiled, now is the time to kind of not be spoiled and come back. But I am going to kind of go through this here because, like I said, this was a good movie. And if you would like to use my site, as you see how clear this does show, this is the movie here, and it shows very, very well. I saw Deadpool for the third time on this site, and like I said, it shows very well. But let's go through this. So, great film. Starts out with this, family here. Oh, maybe it doesn't show as good there. So, never mind. Strike that because that doesn't. Maybe it does look good on you guys' side, but what I'm looking at on my screen looks very 2005. Mom's bringing home DVDs from the guy at the barbershop. But starts out with this family. They're on a vacation, and I forget exactly what he's struggling in his career. She doesn't work as much like she is because they have a child. She's more stay home somewhat. She does have a job, but I think her job is not as financially feeding as his. He's the breadwinner. So they're at a vacation at a hotel type deal, and I believe they were in Italy. And while there, they meet several other couples that are also on the same vacation. And the couple that is in question here, where they at with James McAvoy, is going to be here. This is James McAvoy's character, his son, and his wife. Again, they come off as a very somewhat normal on vacation family. They are the louder family that is there. They are the more outgoing family that is there. And the whole time that they're there, you are seeing the dad of the main father of the film kind of pay attention to him more, pay attention to what they're doing more. And it seems like he wanted to have some more fun than what his wife was willing to do on the trip. There's a scene in particular where they order drinks by the pool, and they are also by the pool, and he was reading a book. The scene I showed you, he was reading a book and she was tanning, and the James McAvoy and his wife ordered drinks, and while they order these drinks and they're being loud and doing flips into the pool, and he looks over there like, and looks at his book and then looks at her, and he's like, you want to order some drinks? And she's like, it's a little early for that, so he's looking at them the entire trip. And I obviously, as a viewer, I'm thinking to myself, he's just like, oh damn, I wish that's the life that we could be living. There's even a scene where they're walking down the stairs and he peers into their apartment and they're dancing to music, and they're on their way to a quiet dinner. And he just, seems like he wants more. So, and of course, as I told you at the beginning, his career is not where he wants it to be. So he goes on. They eventually meet up with them, and this scene is where they actually have a conversation with this family. He has a Vespa or whatever the fuck those things are called, moped, let's call it that. He has the moped, and he's riding his son around on it. The other couple, they have a daughter, and their daughter sees them riding it, and she says it looks fun. And then so of course he offers, hey, she can get on, and so that sparks their friendship somewhat into the film. And you see them having dinner and things like that, where they're discussing jobs and careers and what do you do and blah blah blah. What's your son? All this kind of stuff. They talk about how their son he was born. I forget what they said exactly, but he was born with a condition where he couldn't really talk or something like that, where it's hard for him to get his words out. And I'll get to that more later into the explanation of the film. So here they're talking about all that stuff and talking about his career, his failing career, and they get invited. Oh yes, there's a commercial. They get invited they invite them to their home out in, I forget exactly where they live. I think it's in London. Their home out in London, out in the country, blah blah blah. So they get invited out there. They're back home right now and actually just discussing how, boring their life is, and how he was talking about how their daughter needs to grow up. Their daughter has she's 14, I believe. She has, or no, 11, maybe 12, something like that. She has a little stuffed animal that she calls Flopsy or whatever the fuck, and she can't go anywhere with it. It's a comfort toy for her, so she can't go anywhere without it. And so that was an issue that you noticed while they were in Italy before they agreed to go and meet with James McAvoy and his family in London. She loses the toy before dinner, and he is walking all over, retracing all the steps, looking for it. And he says constantly throughout the film that, explaining to his wife that she is almost 11. She needs to, let this go. We can't keep doing this. And that toy becomes a problem later on. That's why they established how important it was at the very beginning of the film. But anyway, moving on here, this is them on their way, I believe, to meet with James and his family because they discussed it at home. She originally said no, but she could kind of see how he was not feeling. He was feeling like, oh, I really, want more out of my life right now, and I'm just in a rut. And she eventually agreed to go. So they go out and they come to. It's a long, long trip out there. This is the house here. It's like a compound. They go out and it's a long trip out there. They don't have cell phone signal or anything like that. So they're going out, and that's always a red flag for me. When I don't have cell phone signal, that's a place I don't need to be, because why am I at a place where there's no civilization? So they are now here at this house, and the house is not a place I'm really, again, as you just heard me talk about my house being disgusting right now with the move and everything, and it's just in chaos. I am weird about other people's homes. If I feel or I get a sense, this is not a house I would have sat in. Let me put it that way. I would have walked in and been polite, but would I have sat down? You could have, no, I'd have, oh, I'm fine. I'll stand. No, I'm not doing sitting down. This house was gross, in my opinion. He says he was a doctor. He told them he was a doctor and things like that. And I think he really was a doctor. Maybe I can't remember if that was a lie or not. But they're in, being a normal family at this point, somewhat normal. Showing them around. They cooked them dinner. I forgot to mention his wife, not James's wife, but the normal family. His wife is a vegan. She does not eat meat, and they fried and cooked the family goose that ran loose on their property. And then he fed it to her, and she didn't want to say no or anything like that. And of course he knew that, but these are just little things that are leading up to the bigger points of the film and what they're doing. He takes the trash out here, and it was a weird interaction between the son. Let me just go back here, actually. He takes the cheese as he's taking the trash out. The son comes around the corner. Thank you so much for that super chat. Who is that from there? Kenny. You know what, Kenny? I'm not joking when I say this. I was gonna text Q the other day and say, have we heard from Kenny in a minute? I don't feel like we've heard from Kenny since we've been back. So Kenny, I appreciate you being here. He said, I hope you're good, G. Been a while since I caught a live. It has been. I appreciate you so much for that super chat too. Thank you for showing up, Kenny. It has been a minute. I'd always remember those guys that have been here for the longest, and Kenny's one of them. So I definitely appreciate it. But so he's outside talking to the kid here. He turns around, the kid's being super weird, and he opens his mouth. I guess I can't get it right on it. He opens his mouth, and he's trying to, right there. He opens his mouth. He's trying to show him, hey, there's some weird shit going on. Look at my tongue, da 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 da. And the kid, he's like not catching on to it at first, or at all, actually. Then James McAvoy's character comes out, grabs him, and says, come back inside, trying to cover up what they're doing. Moving on to it, it's just regular talking. They're just talking about just different things here, their personal views and whatever. They go to lay down. It's her first night. It's a disgusting bed. Wife's complaining about it. She's just talking about how it's a little weird. And she also was talking about having to eat the meat. She didn't want to eat that meat. Their daughter eventually slept in the bed with them. It was a little weird. They had their daughter on a pallet upstairs with the son. The son, you think, is very, very strange, but he is actually not as strange as he's actually turned out to be my favorite character. I'm gonna be honest. Turned out to be my favorite character of the film. So they go out. I think he took him hunting. They go camping, and James McAvoy's character, I think his name is Ben, takes Ben camping, or they take them camping. And so then they start to see a little bit more of James McAvoy's personality of his character come out here. Obviously, he's with his son here in this picture. They were swinging on a swing, and his son didn't want to get off the swing. Her daughter wanted to get on the swing, and he told him to go push her, and he wasn't pushing her, I guess, in a good enough manner to where he kind of fussed at him, yanked him up, and she told him, hey, you don't have to talk to him like that. It's fine. It's just a swing, blah, blah, blah. They moved past that. That was the first weird interaction of seeing him kind of go off out of character. They go swimming. The wife is kind of on edge the entire time they're on. I can't remember names. I know the husband's name is Ben. But the wife is on edge the entire time that they are on this trip, and she doesn't want to really do much of anything that's suggested. So the swimming trip that they did, jumping off of the ledge here, she wasn't really into, and I don't think she even jumped in at all. So we're going to fast forward. Let's see where we at. So then they go out to dinner. They invite them out to dinner. This is where he kind of gets to see a little bit more of the weirdness from the family. So when they get there, it's some guy's place, and it's supposed to be a restaurant, but they rented out the restaurant. No one else is going to be there. It's just them. And they're eating dinner, and they start to have a kind of disagreement here about views on eating meat and raising children. And they do this very, very, I don't know if I can get it right on it here. But the family, they do this very weird deal talking about how they role play before having sex and things like that. And then she goes under the table, and you, as the audience, I kept going back and forth like, no, she's not. No, she is. No, she's not. No, yes, she is, because his facial expressions, the noises, I was just like, oh, she is. Oh my! And then they start saying, oh, we're joking, we're not really doing. Well, they're just a very, very, very weird family. And she, the wife here in James McAvoy's character, bump heads quite a bit, and they bumped heads during this dinner. They also talk about, their sex life. Ben and his wife talk about their sex life, and she humiliates him and says how, Ben is lucky if he gets it once a month or something like that. And so here in this scene, the son is trying to show, because they have a babysitter, they're playing hide and seek at this point. The son is trying to show their daughter what is actually going on at this property. But he obviously he can't talk because his tongue. So he pulls out a watch, and at the first, at this point in the film, as the viewer, you don't know what the watch stands for, but I'll get to that. He pulls out a watch, and he's showing her this writing on the back of the watch. He's kind of pointing at it, and she doesn't understand. But the babysitter starts to come to seek them. So then they've got to go back into pretending to play this game. The son has tried to give many hints to the family. First was the taking out the trash, opening his mouth, showing him his tongue. This is the little girl, which he bonds with, and she understands and catches on a lot. Well, she catches everything before anybody else. Same dinner, like I said, they do that shit. She's weird and mortified by it. He's upset that, you talk about my sex life like that in front of everyone. They agree to kind of oh yeah. I'm sorry. Let me get to that. So they agree to, be friends on this trip, and let's just, try to get through this, blah, blah, blah. Mom wakes up in the middle of the night. She has to go to the bathroom. Obviously, she goes and checks on her daughter, who is upstairs, supposedly supposed to be upstairs on the pallet in the son's room with him. Son's not there. She's not there. Mom's panicking. She runs down the stairs. She runs into their room, and you see there's James McAvoy's character, their son, his wife, and their daughter. The mom went and got their daughter out of bed at night and put them in bed with them. Again, I'll explain that in a second. She freaks out, grabs her daughter, as of course anyone would, and she's like, I want to go. I want to leave now. This is fucking weird. Why do they have our daughter in the bed with them and things like that? They leave. The family's still asleep. They could have just, been gone and been off and scot-free, end of movie, no one's hurt. She forgets Flopsy's ass. And since she forgot Flopsy, they had to turn around to go get Flopsy. Now, if I would have been dad, and I thought he was, obviously that's the film, he's got to turn around. But he was thinking, fuck this rabbit. We're not turning around for this. She's almost 12. She doesn't need this rabbit. Comfort animal, be damned. Let's move on. They turn around for Flopsy. They go back and get Flopsy, which was a mistake, because when they turn around and finally get back to the property, James McAvoy's character is awake, and he is kind of fussing with um he is fussing with Ben, the dad there, about, we showed you all this hospitality. We wake up and you guys are gone. What is, what's going on? Why can't you tell me what's going on? And blah, 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 blah. And then he makes up a lie and says, we just, um, there's some things we have to go home and take care of. Our daughter doesn't feel good. And then the wife breaks in and says, no, that's not why we're leaving. We're leaving because our daughter was in bed with you guys and we're weirded out by it. So we're going home. There's been a weird trip from the beginning and you guys are weird and blah, 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 blah. The wife then explains to the James McAvoy's wife then explains to her, like, we had a kid, or we had a daughter, but she passed, and you were crying for, or she was crying for you late at night, and you couldn't hear her because when she flips out, the little girl, she has anxiety attacks. She flips out sometimes, and that's what the comfort bunny's for. Um, and she's like, you never came, so I just went and got her and took her into bed with me. I'm sorry, if I crossed a line or any boundaries or anything like that. Blah blah blah. Um, I still would have went home, but they agreed. Okay, well, I'm so sorry that you lost your daughter. We did not know that. This was not news that was privy to us. We are sorry. Let's all just forget it and be friends. And they do. So then they go and have a late little lunch, sit in, whatever. The kid is trying to explain to her, trying to write, hey, this is some fuck shit you're in. You and your family need to get out of here. And she can't understand his handwriting. The mom comes over. The kid literally swallows the paper that he was writing on. They go out on this man trip, and they go screaming into the on a mountain to get all their aggression and shit out. She is telling her mom something's weird with Ant, the little boy. Something's weird with him. He was trying to tell me something, but it's not normal, mom. I don't know. Something's not right. And mom's like, oh no, it's fine. We're all fine. Blah blah. Um, we're gonna skip their man trip. They get back from their trip, and they're all having a dinner here. And during this lunch, um, the little girl, their daughter, is, I guess, slouching and smacking when she eats and eating with her mouth open, to where the wife of James McAvoy says, sit up when you eat, sit up straight when you eat. And she kind of looked at her weird when she said that. And then she's like, don't eat with your mouth open. And she said, can you stop telling my daughter, what to do? I'm her mother. And then James jumps in. If you've seen the trailer, that's in the trailer. James jumps in and tells her, don't tell other people what to do, blah, blah, blah. You should apologize. And she apologizes to her, where he then looks at her and says, you have anything to say? What do you need to say now? And then she says, sorry for, I guess, overreacting. So it's, again, very weird. This is where they really see it. The kids have a dance that they had been working on and planned, and they had planned to show it to them during this lunch. The little boy could not get on beat to save his life. And that was really pissing James McAvoy's character off, to where he was like, go back, do it again, got to get the steps right. And it was pissing him off. And the family was weirded out by that again. Like, it's just a dance. These are just kids. Why are you acting like that? I don't want my daughter to be around you when you're acting like that, and all this kind of stuff. He goes upstairs, falls asleep because he was drunk, and that was his excuse. So he was really drunk. That's why he was acting like that. Well, the aunt goes upstairs, grabs the keys off of his hip, off his keychain here, and pretends to be playing football with her, and to lure her over to this dungeon type deal that they have here. And down here, they have pictures of all of the families that they've done this to. What they do is they lure these families in, I guess just kill them for the hell of it. And not just kill them for the hell of it. They take all their money and things like that, their belongings, and blah, blah, blah. And they also will take the child, as the mom wants to have a kid. Every time they try, the kid that they've previously had before Ant, things go wrong, to where they then, well, okay, let's try again. Let's try again. Let's try again. And they've done this multiple times to multiple different families. So Ant shows her the picture there, and the watch that he was showing her earlier was his dad's watch. That's his dad there. And he was trying to show him, like, that's my dad. And she puts the pieces together, even though the little boy can't really talk because he doesn't have a tongue. They cut out his tongue. So she's putting the pieces together, and she understands, like, oh my God, that's your family. You were killed. they're going to try to do the same thing to us, blah, 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 blah. So she's like, distract them. I need to tell my mom this. So she tells her mother. Aunt tries to go back upstairs to put the keys back on James McAvoy's character. He wakes up, but he slyly gets them back on him. That was one of those moments I was on the like seat, like, oh shit, is he going to catch this little boy trying to, So that was one of those moments. She explains to her mom, she gets her mom into the bathroom, explains to her mom what's going on. After her mom sees everything, they of course go get dad. They explain it to dad, then they explain to each other, we have to pretend like nothing's wrong. We're gonna go and say that you had your first period, and we're going to go home and deal with this as a family, and blah blah blah. You're freaked out. They say okay to that, and it gets really weird as they're leaving. They have a flat tire. He says, I can help you fix the tire, blah blah blah. They help him fix the tire. Then again, as they're getting ready to leave, he says, "Oh, do you have Flopsy?" The Flopsy little doll deal was up on a gutter on the top of the roof. How the fuck it got there? Okay. I would have been asking those questions. How the fuck? But they move on. They get the thing down. He hugs them. He kisses all on her before being weird again. And as they are leaving, she's making up a story saying, oh, because they're like, oh, you guys don't want to see us again. You guys say you're going to come see us again, but we're never going to see you again. She's like, you're probably not, because she's again lying. She did have an affair. I forgot that part. She had an affair because it really was kind of not really that big of a plot point in the movie, but she had an affair. And that's why they had kind of not been the best in their relationship at this point. And that's why they wanted to get away in some things as well. I guess it is kind of a big plot point. But she's explaining to them, you probably won't see us again. I had an affair, and we just needed this trip to help us really realize that this is not what I want. This is not what either of us want. I'm going to move on, blah, 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 blah. They obviously are caught on. They're not buying the story. They have a mission that they're trying to accomplish either way. And then as they're leaving, they say, okay, we're going to come back for Aunt. Don't worry. We just got to get out. We have to get us out safe first so we can come back and get him. They're waving by. Aunt can't swim. So they throw him in this pond, and that's where she's all freaked out here. Ben jumps out of his car, jumps into the water, and goes and gets him out. By the time he gets out of the water, James McAvoy and his wife have got his wife and his daughter on the ground at gunpoint, and they make them transfer their money into their account. And then from here, of course, the escape and everything else happens. They're transferring that money, saying that, please just let us go. What are you going to do to us? And he's saying how he's about to put the little girl to sleep, and then, they'll do the rest to them. The mom was the most badass part of this little family. Ben was a good for nothing piece of shit. Ben was weak. Ben could not make in-moment decisions to save his family. Ben was getting his ass kicked in every fight he was in. Ben is not athletic. I don't know what Ben did to provide for it. Ben couldn't even provide for his family because he didn't even have a job. Ben was really not good for nothing. It was really good for nothing in this film. So here, the mom strikes the first blow across James McAvoy's character's face to where that, helps them escape. They lock them in a room. She's trying to call 911, but they cut the power because they're locked in the basement. So they cut the power where the breaker is. And they are doing all these things, pushing all the shit in front of different doors, trying to keep them out. The guy that they went and ate dinner with at his restaurant, he is in on this with the family. So he comes to help them, subdue this family and take them down. So he's outside with his gun as well. James McAvoy and his wife get out of that basement that they were in, and they're trying to break in and get them and all this kind of stuff. And this is where you see all of that going down. The wife again gets some acid. She pours it on James McAvoy's character's face. This is the guy that owns the restaurant where they ate dinner. He's inside now with the gun, to where you see Ben looking at him through a peek in the closet that he's hiding in. And let me get to that scene here. He comes out, jumps out at him. Dude's got the gun. They're rolling on the ground fighting. This is Ben right now about to get his face slammed into some glass. And it's not until his wife comes up and does what Ben couldn't do and kills dude. saving Ben again. Then they go trying to run off. He's trying to get all the acid off that she had doused on him. They're climbing out the roof at this point. They're trying to go down. They're on the third or fourth floor. So I think they have like 3 floors. They're on the third floor. His James McAvoy's wife's got the gun. She's going after him. She gets pushed off of the roof again by the wife who was hiding to push her off of the roof. She's dead at this point. James McAvoy's character comes back outside after all the family get down on the ground from the second floor, third floor. And he said, or she said to her, he said to his daughter, go and we'll catch up with you. And as soon as he said that in theater, I was like, that number one rule, you never fucking separate. And they separated. And I said, he's going to come back with James McAvoy is going to come back with the daughter. And he did. So he comes back with the daughter, gun to her head, saying what he's going to do to her and all this kind of stuff. And then she has the syringe that they were going to use to put her to sleep. So she uses it on James McAvoy to where they were going to let him they were going to go. The family was just going to go. And I was even saying in the theater, no, don't go, kill him. Like, obviously I'm sure I did not do the best of a job explaining or even making it sound that interesting, but it's a great film. But I'm sitting here thinking the whole time, don't let him go, kill him. Don't just leave to where Ant's like, fuck that shit. You cut out my tongue. You killed both my parents, my family. I've been your hostage for however many years. He takes a brick and just pow, 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 pow on his face. They do show his face for like a very brief, like flash second. Trying to think of something you can compare it to, because there is like I don't know, but it's like, yeah, the whole pow, 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 pow. He lets out, a scream of all this aggression, all the shit he's been holding in for all these years. And the family's like, just watching. And of course they leave and they have Ant at this point, and I'm assuming they maybe adopt Ant. And yeah, it was a good movie. It was a very good movie. I really, really, really liked Speak No Evil. It is one, like I said, it was a breath of fresh air outside of something that wasn't sci-fi. It was very thriller and very, I love those type of films. It wasn't horror. There were some horror trailers that were shown that I can't wait for. I'm ready for some good horror films, but it was a very fun thriller. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, good one. I don't know if anybody else has seen that. I see Zangbeto. Appreciate you being here. Raymond, I appreciate you being here. He said a Sunday live. Hadn't had this in years. Okay. Well, we know Raymond's here. Xavier, I had said what's up to you earlier. Xavier also said, definitely check out the original film for it. Yeah, I said I was going to watch it because somebody said that this was obviously a remake. So I watched the trailer to the original film and I was going to watch it as well. So I'm definitely going to check that out. Drop the site in Discord. I will. I'll give it to you guys here. Actually, is a Discord? I should have my Discord up already on here. But for anybody that's not in the Discord, I'll go ahead and just give you that link here. So you can check out some movies. It has movies that are in theaters, movies that are, they got everything on there. Shows, movies, they got it all. I sent it there. Brother Stark asked about it too. Tony, what's up? Appreciate you being here. Naries, appreciate you being here as well. Raymond said, nah, I ain't going. He said, I ain't going to nobody's house to be real. I don't talk. I'm sorry, the screen is small that I have. I don't talk to strangers. I'm from New York City. We don't have Southern hospitality. If you linger, your gaze at me too long, I can't see it. I perceive you as a threat. Okay. That's funny. Sorry. I'm going to have to pull the chat here because I can't see it on this screen. All right. Zen said, reminds me of a film, The People Under the Stairs. I've heard of that one. I haven't seen it. Is it a horror film? And if it's a horror film, like, is it a horror film where I'm actually going to be scared? I'm trying. That's what I'm looking for. I haven't had a horror film in a minute where I have actually been scared. I'm talking about scared where I'm turning on the lights to go to the bathroom scared. I'm turning on the lights to go get a drink of water. That's how scared I'm trying to be. I need that type of horror film. Tyrone, appreciate you being here as well. Kenny said it made me want to see the one from 2022. Is that the Danish version? That's the one I want to see. That's the one I want to see too. William said it's kind of scary. I'll have to check it out. I'll have to check that one out. Okay. But yeah, I wanted to talk about that, just kind of get that off the top there. Something else that I wanted to talk about before we go into all the movie stuff and Marvel stuff and everything like that was Sean Combs. Has anybody seen all the shit going on with Sean Combs? All of the shit going on with Sean Combs. Yeah, the stuff going on with Sean Combs. Brother Stark said, "Did he do it?" Yeah, he did it. Williams said, "I heard he got a weird case." Zen said, "Yeah, the puff stuff is heavy." Xavier said, "It's been a wild few days with Diddy." Dexter said, "Yeah, it's been wild." Okay, so we're all aware of the things going on with Diddy. Obviously, this is not new news. This is something that from the top of the year, when they first interacted with Diddy, when the law enforcement first interacted with Diddy on the charges that were filed on him for the sexual harassment and things like that. So this is not new. This is just a long going trying to recover evidence and different things like that in order to build a case on this man. So I just wanted to say that first. Also, Cat Williams spoke on this, in the Shannon Sharp interview. Jaguar White, I have watched all of her. When we first started doing Pantheon, I remember that's when I first started really watching. I think that's when some of the P Diddy stuff started really getting heavy. When we first started doing Pantheon is when we when that happened, I believe, because I was really heavy into her interview. So I was watching a lot of her different interviews and things like that, and some of the things that she was saying. And I was like, at the time, and I still say this, how does she know all of this? Some of the stuff you have to take with a grain of salt, blah, 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 blah. But some of the stuff that Jag was saying has even come true. So now what we have, and it's so weird to me because I've when it comes to things, as I always say, you guys hear me say this all the time, we need to normalize not joining conversations where you're not educated, where you're not privy to what is going on or whatever. I have done my homework on this case. I've been doing my homework on this case since this case has been making its rounds way before all the new stuff that's been. The new stuff is just added on to my knowledge that I already know about this. This is not. There's nothing nefarious going on with this. I know that you got Umar's dumbass who's come on here and said, and I'm going to play not all of it, just play some of the stuff that he said, saying that it's a coincidence that they're doing this during election time. It's not. It's not intentional on their end either. I'm not gonna fall into your. And again, I'll get into that in just a second, but it's not. How he was saying how can Hugh Hefner have a Playboy mansion and he had freak offs all the time, but P Diddy. Again, comparing those two to me is wild. Even though stories have come out about Hugh Hefner and the mansion, comparing Diddy's freak offs, which were had sex trafficking going on, you had the drugging going on of different females, you had the importing of sex workers, prostitution, you had the racketeering going on. You've got the RICO conspiracy. You've got all these different charges, all this evidence that is stacked against Sean Combs. And you've got ignorant motherfuckers like Umar. You got fat ass ignorant motherfuckers like Faison, who is not funny and never has been funny, coming on trying to defend P. Diddy's actions. You got dumbasses who are this nigga. I can't stand Boosie. I can, bruh. Woo, you want to talk about a nigga I can't stand, but you got this dumbass motherfucker who keeps getting on every time Boosie enters the conversation from somebody else on somebody else's business. He is always on the wrong side of somebody else's business. Meanwhile, he's got his own fucking house he needs to worry about, but that's neither here nor there. Then, of course, you've got dumbass Ray J. Ray J of all people. I don't know why the fuck they thought, oh, let's go to Ray J and see what Ray J has to say about this. Went to Ray J. Ray J's coming in with some stupid hot ass takes too. So I'm going to play some of them, but I'm getting to all of those to say it's weird to me that with all of the evidence stacked against this man, you still have people getting on their public platforms trying to make it seem like this is a white versus black thing, and it's not. It's not. It simply is not. These are charges that the Southern District of New York have put together. And the reason, because people are saying, well, why, like how Umar was saying, well, why didn't they arrest him in the beginning? Why this? Why that? Because when you are building a case on someone, when you are building a case like this, a case that you are accusing someone of sex trafficking, you are accusing someone of racketeering, you're accusing someone of importing sex workers, you're accusing someone of gun trafficking, you're accusing them of sex with minors, you're accusing him of drugging people, you're accusing him of all these different. You need to have all your ducks in a row. So if I'm the Southern District of New York, I'm doing the exact same thing. I wasn't going to charge him back in January when we barely had anything. All we had was the witness statements, the one witness statement from Lil Rod. Then you had Cassie come forward. Then you had the video where he beat the dog shit out of Cassie come forward. And then moments, and here's the thing about that video. The reason that this man is behind bars right now is simply because, and they're denying him his bail, and they need to continue to deny him his bail, is simply because he is a flight risk. Him and his team, his legal team, have built this case that has been saying, well, he was ready to turn himself in. He came to New York to turn himself in, and this and all this kind of stuff. And to arrest him like this and to deny him bail is ludicrous. And he's willing to offer this. He's willing to offer that. He's willing to offer, $80 million, $180 million to prove he's not going to run. I don't know if P. Diddy would actually leave, and I don't think that he would. I think that do I think that he's had that conversation with his legal team? Yes. I think he has had that conversation with his legal team. I think they advised him against leaving because you would have to get the pilots on board. You would have to get whatever country you land in. You would have to get their cooperation that they're not going to extradite you back to New York or back to the United States, because the full weight of the United States law enforcement would come down if he did leave. But I don't believe he's a flight risk at this time. But the District of New York believes he is, and rightfully so. So he's behind bars for and being denied bail because of him being a potential flight risk. What did Umar came on? Well, let's start. Let me go with Faison first. Faison got on and said that he didn't understand when it became a crime to be nasty. And this is where the ignorance comes in on this case. It's not a crime to have sex. It's not a crime to have sex with multiple people. It's not a crime to have sex with a group of people. It's not a crime. What you do in your private quarters sexually is your business. What is a crime is when you throw the sex trafficking in. What is a crime is, and this has not been brought up on any charges. This is just right now. And right now, the District of New York has said, these are just the charges they're putting forward right now. They said they will have more. There's nothing on there about the child, about any minors, but that becomes a crime if there are minors involved. It becomes a crime when you are importing drugs and drugs are involved. It becomes a crime when you are importing sex workers and sex workers are involved. It becomes a crime when you are putting your hands on people and threatening people. It becomes a crime when it becomes a crime when there's organized crime involved, and that's where the racketeering and RICO conspiracy comes in. So for Faison's fat dumbass to get on his live stream in front of all of his viewers and followers and say some damn when was it a crime to be nasty? Hold on, listen to what this dumbass nigga said. I gotta pause that really quick because I don't like. See, that's the thing for me. It's the picking and choosing for me. The fact that he just glazed over. You putting your hands on Cassie, putting your hands on a young lady. I don't agree with that. Putting your hands on her, no, brother. He didn't just put his hands on her. He beat the fucking shit out of Cassidy. He beat the shit out of Cassidy. And another reason, that's what I was going to say earlier, when with him being a flight risk, with him being with why the District of New York took so long to build a case against him was because of the celebrity that he is, because of the resources that he has. You don't go after someone like Sean Combs without having your case all the way done, without having your T's crossed and your I's dotted, because he has those resources. What he did after that video, when he beat the shit out of Cassidy before the video was shown to the public, the security guards saw that video. Let me put myself back up here real quick. The security guards saw that video. And when they saw that video, of course, they ran down to the lobby or to where they were. And he and his team, his bodyguards and all that kind of stuff were trying to talk to the security guard that was on duty and tell him, hey, what can we get you to get that? We get that video erased, gone. And of course, that bodyguard with some morals wasn't going for that. He was like, okay, I'm not losing my job over that. 1, 2, you just beat the shit out of her. We watched you. 3, I need to see what my higher ups want to do with this video. To where Diddy and his team, his resources, went to the higher ups. The video was gone when the police or when the security guard got to work the next day. So he made that video disappear. Obviously, not enough to where it still did get out. But those are some of the resources they're talking about. So for Faizon's, again, dumb fat ass to come on here and just glaze over the fact that he beat the dog shit out of Cassie, because he's more focused on. That's what they want y'all to. They want to try to make y'all believe that they are putting P. Diddy in jail because he likes to have fun and have sex and have fun. No one is saying you can't do that, nigga. What you do on your time is your business. What you do at your house with your money, if you want to throw the biggest sex, do it. But you cannot have the sex trafficking. You can't have everything else that is stacked against him involved. And the fact that, again, that we are just glazing over that shit is insane to me. It's insane. It's insane. Glazing over Cassie getting her ass beat, saying, oh, don't put your hands on a young lady, to just move on to the whole sex thing. I'm going to let him finish. I'm going to let his dumb ass finish. Oh, y'all can't hear it. Okay, hold on. Why can't y'all hear it? Hold on. Let me figure out how to get this on here. I'm sorry. Y'all know I am not good with this shit. And I think the audio only controls my fucking... Oh, thank you. Okay. Chill is in here to help me.
Try to stop sharing it, like end it. And then when it asks you again to do the share screen thing, go back and just be like, not entire screen, but by tab. There's gonna be an option. So present, share screen, and then don't go entire screen. Go like by the tab.
Okay. So not the way I just had it, but
yeah, if you're at William. Yeah, if you're at the place that says entire screen, share by tab, share this window, like go to the one that doesn't say entire screen.
Oh, I see. Okay. Did I do the same thing?
Play it. Nah, still can't hear it. I don't get it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's okay.
Litters.
Thank you. Okay. That's okay. We don't have to hear him. He says, when has being nasty, and I'm so I can hear it. So he said, when has being nasty been a crime? He didn't know that there was a limit on baby oil. He said, he's getting confused. Now he's trying to be funny, which he never has been. He's saying, please tell us a new rule for niggas. Now, that's where I want to stop this really quick, because that's also where Umar comes in, because as we all know, Umar's personality is white versus black. So, and I'm not saying that there are times where I don't agree with Umar, because there are times which you have heard me. Y'all have heard me say on this channel many, many, many times. There are times I agree with Umar, more times that I do not agree with Umar. But I want to stop there where he says, let me exactly see here how he said that again. What's the new rules for niggas? There is no new rule for niggas. It's not. And again, they want to try to make you believe that this is a white versus black dilemma, and it is not. It's not. It's simply not. They're getting on here to try to say, oh, because it's Sean Combs, it's another nigga that they want to put out in the streets to hang, to show you, to make an example, and blah blah blah, to keep you in line. They're doing this during election time, and that he and P. Diddy just happens to be the guy that they no. As Cat Williams said back in January, and almost everything Cat said in that interview has happened. As he said back in January, P. Diddy, he named Sean and said all that weird ass shit. Jaguar Wright has talked about it. I mean, this isn't new news. This isn't new news for the Southern District of New York when they approached him in January, again, as they were building their case. So there's no new rule for niggas. Stop trying to make this a black and white thing. Do the facts, research, do some research instead of just going off of what you are seeing in the headlines or what the next person is telling you. Do your own personal research so you know what the fuck is going on. Sean Diddy Combs is a sick man. He is a sick man. I don't care how you try to spin it, how you try to flip it, he is a sick man. He is. All the evidence that they have stacked against him, they have video evidence, they have text messages, they have physical evidence, they have witness statements, not one, not two, not three, not four, because when one person's a victim, they typically know other victims, and those victims are typically all victims of the same person, and that's what has happened in the circle with P. Diddy. So it's not a black and white thing. It's as simple as this man broke the law, and then you add the racketeering to it. That's organized crime with multiple people, and you want to hear, and all these people talking about, well, why haven't all these people that are friends with P. Diddy come forward? Why hasn't Ashton Kutcher come forward? Why hasn't damn, what were some of the other names they were naming? He knows everybody. Why haven't they come forward? Because these are probably people whose names and faces are on these videos that they have as evidence. Text messages between them that they have as evidence. These are people that were at these freak offs. And again, it's not illegal to be a freak. You want to be freak? Be a freak. You want to have a freak off? Have a freak off. No one's saying that is illegal. So stop trying to make that the basis of this. No one's saying that's illegal. It's illegal when you throw all the illegal shit that you were doing in it. So trying to make it a black and white thing, nigga, please stop that bullshit. That's some weird ass shit. Then he's talking, let me see, what else did he say? He said maybe they're not new rules because there was in the 1800s, there was a famous boxer and he was whooping ass. Mostly white folks' ass. Okay. Okay, so before he finishes this, I think what he's getting at here is because what he's saying is that this boxer was a very famous boxer, and he was a black boxer, and he had a white woman, and he was knocking out all these white men, and they couldn't stop him. And I think what he's trying to do, and I never watched his video all the way through because there's only a certain amount of ignorance I can deal with before I gotta peel out. I think I made it through 20 seconds of his original rant when I first watched this. So this is new to me as well, the entire video. So when he's saying what he's saying there, I think what he's trying to do is compare. I think he's comparing P. Diddy as far as like being one of the greatest. And I don't know where does that narrative come from? I've seen some people saying that too. P. Diddy's one of the greatest. He was the greatest at what? What the fuck? What reality am I living in that nobody else is living in? Because I guess I'm lost at when P. Diddy was ever a great of anything. When has P. Diddy ever been on anybody's Mount Rushmore? Never. So I don't know if that's what he's getting at, but let me let the brother finish. So I guess and this was in the 1800s. That boxer, I guess, with his white wife, how he had a white wife in the 1800s. Obviously, this motherfucker's not educated at all. Black man boxer, white wife, 1800s, motherfucker. They were still slaves. So okay. So anyway, I guess this black boxer with his white wife took his white wife over lines or something, and they charged him with sex traffic in the 1800s. I don't know where the story's coming from, but we'll let his dumbass continue. He says if that wouldn't have happened, he wouldn't have stopped boxing. He said make it make sense, and I'm echoing that to him. I wish y'all could hear it. So he's just talking about, things that you can't take, you can't have vacation, can't do this. The whole 2 minutes and 40 seconds that he decided to get on his public platform to his followers and then have those same followers echo that to their followers and to their followers and to more followers. It just reminds me of that. Is that Billy Madison? I can't remember what movie it is where it's like everyone in this room is now dumber from having listened to what you just fucking said. You don't pass go, don't collect 100, no Yahtzee, no Uno, just fail. Ignorant, bro, fucking ignorant. And just the things that it just doesn't make sense. So to be on that side of it is weird to me. Then you got Boosie. God. Then you got Boosie coming in, and I don't know what everybody's fandom is or who you're a fan of. And if you get offended if you're a fan of these people, I'm sorry. I also don't care. Boosie has had terrible takes on multiple different things that don't involve him at all. For whatever reason, now anybody can have an opinion on anything that goes on in the world. That's fine. But for whatever reason, Boosie feels like he needs to get on his public platform every time and then insert himself and on other people's households, what's going on in other people's houses and things like that. I.e., when I'm talking about that, I'm talking about Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union with Dwayne Wade's daughter. When Dwayne Wade's daughter decided not decided, but came forward to make the announcement that she was going to change her sex and things like that, and letting her dress, and that she was going to be wearing more dresses and dressing like a female and things like that. Boosie had a problem with that. Boosie took it out on Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union, got on his live. Gabrielle Union has said things about this, got on live streams and said like, how you letting that boy do this? How you know that boy wants to cut off his ... and all this kind of stuff? Why are you doing it? And my thing with it was, why the fuck are you so concerned with what the fuck is going on in another nigga's household? You got your own shit to worry about. Why the fuck were you letting your 9-year-old son having all these strippers at his birthday party while they were bouncing their ass on a 9-year-old? Let's talk about that. You want to get on somebody else's household? Let's talk about why you were doing that shit with your son. Let's talk about why you disowned, why you have your daughter is gay herself and you disown her. Why don't you go worry about your own gay daughter while you worried about somebody else's? It's the weird shit for me with Boosie. When you want to make music, nigga. But instead of giving these hot ass takes on somebody else's house, pipe the fuck down. That shit is weird to me. It's weird. Again, have your opinion. But when you start attacking Dwayne Wade's daughter and attacking Dwayne Wade himself and trying to tell him how to run his household, nigga, let he without sin cast the first stone. If your house isn't made of glass, then sure, throw all the rocks you want. But his house is made of all types of glass. So he got on here and had a hot take on this one and said, I feel Diddy in jail, because this nigga has to be ignorant. So he in jail with an N. I feel Diddy in jail for basically doing what every other famous entertainer has done. Flew bitches out for threesomes. And again, this is where the ignorance comes in. This nigga's not behind bars because he's fucking. Okay? Shannon Sharp just had a whole ass video leak of audio of him fucking. FBI wasn't knocking at his door saying, sir, you just had sex. We got to take you in. That's not how that works. This nigga's not in jail for having sex. He's in jail for sex trafficking. He's in jail for the racketeering. He's in jail for the RICO conspiracy. He's in jail for the gun shit. He's in jail for the drug shit. He's in jail for the potential child minor shit. He's in jail for putting his hands on people. And if the shit continues to go the way that it's going, he is also rumored to have killed Kim Porter, his ex-wife, the mother of his son. That's a whole nother conversation. That's a whole nother thing. So yeah, that's not why he's in jail. Then he goes on to say he's just freakier. We actually go call women prostitutes who fly and willing to be with a partner. What, nigga? We actually go call women prostitutes who fly in willingly to be with their partners for sex. If that's the case, if you've been flued out and had, this is a read. And when I tell you this is a read, this is hard. My IQ is going down. This is difficult. This is why this is another reason why you need to stay out of spaces where you just don't need. The case, if you've been flued out and had sex. Okay, then he says. Before I say that, the community notes here are important too. The community notes came in strong here and said, Diddy is charged with racketeering, sex trafficking by force, fraud or coercion, and transportation and engaging with prostitutes. The incriminating acts alleged include arson, assault, sex trafficking, bribery, kidnapping, forcible labor, distribution of narcotics, and etc. All the things I was naming before, and etc. Had nothing to do with having sex, but that's all these niggas are seeing. He's in jail because he's freaky. He's in jail because he had when is having 1,000 bottles of baby oil illegal? It's not. You do what you want to do. 1 million bottles. Make it 2 million if you want. Do if you want what you want to do. But when you're rubbing that baby oil on with sex trafficking, nigga, it's a crime. I don't know why that's where that disconnect is, but it's a crime. Then this dumbass goes on to say, I'm starting to feel like this sex trafficking charge for flying bitches in for threesomes will be a tool used to take down hip hop artists and celebrities. Whoa. Wow, wee wow. Okay, so he says that he feels that this is now going to be a tool to take down no. Unless you're sex trafficking. If you're not sex trafficking, you have nothing to worry about. If you're not sex trafficking, if you're not importing narcotics, if you're not doing all the other things listed here in the community notes, then you have not shit to worry about. If you just sitting there, wipe me down, then wipe me down, Boosie. I mean, if that's all, if you're just doing that, then you're fine, bruh. You're fine. You're fine. But when you start sex trafficking and everything else, then no, then it's a fucking crime. So again, that's dumbass number 2 that it says something this week in regards to the the Diddy shit. Then you've got Ray J. Now, again, as I said before, I don't know who told who. Yeah, like Gray said, a hit dog will holler, and that is so true. I don't know who told Ray J or what. Why Ray J was the voice of like, let's see what Ray J has to say. What is everybody keeps sharing what I don't need to hear from Ray J. I even though Ray J in this video says I don't know what rooms they're talking about, nigga, please. His name is probably on some of those. He was in probably some of those rooms too. We knew about how freaky he was, the freaky shit he was doing when that Kim video dropped. So I'm sure he was in the video, or he was in there doing freaky ass shit too. Freaky ass niggas. Yes, I'm sure he was in there too. But I just want to know like who said like let's see what Ray J thinks, because I'm more interested in what like actual victims. Lil Rod has already come forward and put out statements and things like that. Cassie put out the statement and got that got settled because he settled that the very next day. Diddy settled that he didn't want that going to court. Obviously, it's out there, the evidence, and then all he did was give an Instagram apology. Oh, I can be a better man, and I'm this and that, blah 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 blah. Not meaning any of that shit. Not meaning any of that shit. They have text messages of him telling some of the other victims, oh yo, I got police officers surrounding me at my house. What come on, bro, I need you to come through and tell the truth. Whatever you need, anything that you need ever again after this, I can make it happen. That's the coercion. Trying to coerce people into trying to coerce people into telling his version of the truth and wanting people to lie for him and things like that. So again, I want to know from the victims. Like everybody keeps sharing this stuff with Justin Bieber. I'm not going to sit here and say that Justin Bieber was sexually molested by anybody or anything like that. Are the videos weird? Yes, they are. Is there that video of him, Beckham, and Trey Songz? Yes, there is. Is that a little strange? Yes, it is. Is it what? Am I clear on what they're doing in that? No, I'm not. Do I have speculation? I do, but I don't know for sure. And as you guys always know, I'm not going to say stuff like that unless it's factual. So I have my speculation, but I don't know what's fact and what's not when it comes to Bieber. So I would want to hear from Bieber because everybody's been sharing all the videos and the resurfaced. I remember when that video of him dropped when he was spent that 48 hours with Diddy. At the time, it was just like, oh, okay, he's 48, Bieber fever. It wasn't anything. But now knowing these charges and knowing about everything and knowing about some of the shit we know now, and you look back on some of these resurfaced videos, it is strange. It is very weird. It's very weird. So I would want to hear from Bieber, but Ray J, damn, I wish again y'all could well, hold on. Chill might have told me how to fix it so y'all can hear. Hold on. Okay, I think I got it. Let me try this again, guys. I don't see that, Jill. Jill's probably like, yeah, it doesn't tell me that either. It doesn't tell me like entire screen or window, or it just pulls up a little tab thing at the top for me. It drops down and lets me choose. So it doesn't give me like a thing for audio or anything like that. But again, I wish y'all could hear it, but that's fucking fine. I guess I won't play this whole thing either. This is a 3-minute video. And this 3-minute video, this is Como, one of the Como brothers. His brother used to be mayor of New York till he got put out on some nefarious ass shit. I think he got put from CNN on some nefarious ass shit too. The two nefarious ass Comos. So Como is doing this interview here with Ray J, and he's asking Ray J, why do you think no one has come forward and speaking on Diddy's behalf? None of his friends, none of the people at these freak offs, You know, he was just handed the key to New York City last year. They took that shit back. And now he's just asking him that. So then Ray J says, he takes a deep sigh and says, you know, I feel like a lot of people are in shock. A lot of people are dealing with it in their own way. But in times like these, we should come together and talk about it as a community. Let's pause. This is the way Ray J is speaking around this is the same way that I feel like conversations were spoke about Uvalde, or conversations were spoke about some other, like, you know, other school shootings, or 9/11, or the Oklahoma bombing, or any of those catastrophic events that shake our nation to its core. The way he is talking about this, talking about we need to process this, and people are still in shock. Hold on, people are still in shock at times like these. We should come together and talk about it as a community. It's easy to be divided and point fingers. And nigga, what the fuck are you talking about? What again? Who is letting these niggas, and they're pulling the dumbasses too. Who's letting these dumbass niggas get on national television or on these platforms and speak so ignorantly about this situation? What the fuck is he even talking about? Like, that doesn't even make sense. You're making it sound like we just lost a national treasure, or that there was another plane that flew into a building. Like, nigga, it's not hard for us to. No one's in shock about sex trafficking. No one's in shock. No one's sitting there like, oh shit, I need to process this. I need to process. I don't know how I feel about Diddy sex trafficking. I don't know how I feel about. I mean, granted, us everyday people, like, this doesn't affect my 9 to 5. This doesn't affect my everyday life. P. Diddy going to jail, it's a topic for me to talk about here, but this doesn't affect my 9 to 5. So there's nothing for me to process. There's nothing I'm shocked about. There's nothing I need to come together with a community and be like, guys, how are we feeling about Diddy sex trafficking today? Are you? There's nothing. This is not that type of conversation. So why the fuck this dumbass nigga wearing those glasses? Are these the ones that can't break? Wearing those glasses that trying to get on here and be, kudos on you trying to look sophisticated or whatever, but you sound ignorant as fuck. You sound ignorant. Hold on. Then he said, so we can have a stronger future for the culture. These niggas only give a fuck about the culture when it's convenient to give a fuck about the culture. I don't know Ray J, so I don't want to presume to know what Ray J's day-to-day concerns are. Maybe he does wake up every day thinking, how can I make the black community a better community? Maybe he does. I don't know. But I'm also not looking at P. Diddy to rally behind, to be like, I'm not looking at P. Diddy as the savior to the black community. I've never looked at P. Diddy and said, gee, golly willikers, if he could just come save the black community, we'd be all right. I sure do look at him as an icon. During the marches, during Black Lives Matter, where was Ray J? Where was P. Diddy? Were they on the front lines marching? When everybody was getting all these folks was in on the back of T-shirts, where was Ray J? Where was the culture then, moving stronger for the culture then? Where was Sean Combs moving stronger for? So fuck all that bullshit. This ain't got shit to do with talking about a stronger future for our culture, nigga. What? And then said, P. Diddy has always been an icon in our community. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to sit here and say that Sean Combs has not made a name for himself. He's got like 49 of them. So I'm not going to say he hasn't made a name for himself. Of course he has. Of course, Sean Combs, we know who he is. But we also know how Sean Combs got to be Sean Combs. Like, I've never looked at P. Diddy and been like, he's an icon. I haven't. So Ray J calling him an icon, he must be an icon to you. You must look at him as an icon. Maybe that's why you attended the freak-offs you say you didn't attend. Then he said, we've listened to his music for decades, at least in his era, and have looked up to him. And it's super, And this situation is super unfortunate. What I want is for these people in Hollywood, if you weren't in that stuff, if you weren't in those rooms like you say you weren't, then come forward and condemn those that were in those rooms. Come forward and condemn P. Diddy. Come forward. Don't get on here talking about, oh, this is unfortunate. We need to rally together instead of pointing fingers. No, come on here and call him. If that nigga's weird, call him weird. If he's sex trafficking, say that. You saw him put his hands, feet, knees, toes, and ankles on Cassie. Say that. But you want to get on here and try to make it seem like this was a national catastrophe and we just lost a national treasure or something like that. And that's not what fucking happened. And like Grace said, they can't. You're right. They can't. They can't. Because again, names. And I don't know why. Again, let me rephrase that. They can, because I don't know. In their minds, they can't because it could come back to them. But what they already don't know is if what the FBI and the Southern District of New York say they have is what they have, you don't have to say it because they already know. They have the evidence. They got the tapes. They got the texts. They got the witness statements. They got the names. They got everything. They know about every name that was being at almost every freak off. Then he says, to ensure we need to know how to move differently to ensure that the next generation knows how to move with integrity and transparency. He said integrity again, moving forward should be non-negotiable. Like Como, as he looks confused, I too am confused because Como's like coming back saying, okay, yeah, but that's what every culture wants. But that honestly was not the fucking question. And he just said that, I hear you. Yeah, we need that in every culture. And he's looking around like, okay. And so now he's going back at him saying, okay, people aren't coming out because either they're suspected this about him, they don't want to have any connection to him. And then there's the group that are worried that they're going to get pulled in because they're on the names on list and all that shit. Then he says, when you were with him, you had to have heard some of the things that other people were hearing about he was doing, what he could be about on the dark side and the parties and things. Then he says, what do you make of what you heard and what you saw for yourself and what gave you an opinion on what he was about? Okay, so he says here to himself and a lot of other people in the industry, it's a shock because they've never seen or heard any of the things that some of the things that people are saying about him. And the things that people are finding out. He said, I've never been in rooms that people are talking about. I never knew they existed. Bullshit. There's no way. And again, I don't want to presume, but I'm saying bullshit. There's no way you're hanging out with Diddy and doing all that shit or whatever you were doing with him because Ray J, let's call it what it is. Ray J had what? One wish. That's really that's it. That's the song for Ray J. Sexy Can I? Sure. It was a summer hit. I don't know. I can't pull Ray J hits out of the air like that. I can't do it. So I don't know. I know he played in Moesha. Didn't he play on Moesha when he guest starred or something like that? He wasn't a regular on Moesha, or did he become a regular on Moesha? Can't remember. I think he guest starred on the Parkers. He has a few acting sitcom debuts here and there, but outside of that, Ray J hasn't had like this big career. He's not his sister, and even Brandy hasn't had a gigantic career. Brandy's had a career that has sustained her, obviously. But she hasn't had that career. So as extension, her brother hasn't had that career. And really, as I said, Ray J, I don't know. I'm confused. So with Ray J not being that big in the industry and things like that, and people normally going to Diddy to help them obtain some type of status in the industry, you can't tell me you weren't in some of those rooms. You can't tell me that you weren't asking for handouts from Diddy or that you weren't trying to elevate your very own career after that one wish. So no, you can't tell me you weren't in those rooms. But he's never heard of those rooms. I've been in those rooms. I've seen those rooms. Nigga, lie again. Then he said, a lot of people in the industry can agree with him. People just wanted to go have a good time at a Diddy party. Y'all had a good time. You wanted to have a good time. You wanted to be inspired. I don't know why he again is talking like this is like we're going to like a presidential luncheon or that people are about to go sit down and listen to a famous, very well regarded and respected speaker or something like that. So you went to Diddy parties. He said people wanted to go to be inspired. So you went to Diddy parties. You know, I'm gonna be honest with you. This is just me. I don't live in Hollywood. I've never been to a freak off or never been to that type of party. I've never been to any type of, like that. I've been to parties, many parties. Never once, ever, when showing up to a party, on the way there or leaving, did I think, damn, that was inspirational. I wonder how this party's going to inspire me today. Or how is this party going to inspire me better than the last? I don't know. Again, I don't know what the freak offs. Maybe it inspired you to carry some of those things at the freak off home or to conduct your own freak off. I don't know. But to be inspired was one thing he said. You wanted to go have a good time. And you wanted to go the next day to work, and you wanted to work hard, and it's a good vibe. So again, what he's talking about, I don't fucking know. If I was Como, I would have stopped him a long time ago. I wouldn't have let him ramble. Because you're not making sense. When you go to a freak off, you want to have a good time, and you want to get up and go to work the next day and work hard. Nigga, what the fuck? When I heard this the first time, it really made me say, who asked for Ray J's opinion in this, and why allow Ray J to speak on this? Because he just looked fucking retarded. And then, hold on, what's he saying? And then he says, where we are right now, everybody's still trying to digest and understand and know that even though these are just allegations and nothing's factual yet, it's hurtful and it's confusing. Chat, mate, are you confused? Because I'm not. I'm not confused by the charges. I'm not confused by I'm not confused. I'm not digesting anything. I don't need to digest what sex trafficking is. I understand fully and I'm well aware of what sex trafficking is. I don't need to digest putting your hands, shoulders, knees, and toes on somebody. I don't need to digest that. I don't need to digest all of the witnesses that have come forward, and nothing needs to be digested. Nothing needs to be, nobody's confused about anything. None of that. So what the fuck Ray J's talking about, even in that, I don't know. And then again, this is it on this. And I'm not even going into all these because this nigga went on, and I'm not about to speak word for word for what this motherfucker said. Umar said, Diddy is a distraction from the 2024 presidential election, and highlights that Hugh Hefner had 24/7 freak-offs at the Playboy Mansion, and nobody said a word. As I said at the very beginning before I went into this, obviously stories have come out about some different horrific things at the mansion that have been dealt with. Hugh is gone. Hugh passed away. After Hugh passed away, there were things that even came out when Hugh was still living. But after Hugh passed away, everybody wanted to do a memoir, and this and this and that. And all this happened at the mansion, and this happened at the mansion, and blah, 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 blah. Okay, yeah, it did. I'm sure all those things. If those things did happen, I'm not saying they didn't. I have no doubt that they did. Rich white man with all them women in his, of course. Why not? I've got access to, of course. I'm sure they did. But the thing about it is, nobody was coming up with charges for sex trafficking for Hugh Hefner. Nobody was hitting Hugh Hefner with, I'm sorry, let me go back down here just so we're completely authentic here. Racketeering or force or sex trafficking by force, fraud, coercion, transportation to engage in prostitution. Hef wasn't charged with arson, assault, sex trafficking, bribery, kidnapping, forced labor, distribution, or narcotics. You weren't hearing those things about Hef. You were hearing some other things going on within the walls of the mansion, but you weren't hearing about sex. So to try to compare the mansion situation to P. Diddy again, wrong, terrible example to use. And then to try to say that this is a distraction from the 2024 presidential election. And I do remember what he said in this. Again, I'm not pressing play or anything. Well, it's playing. I can't hear it. But what he was saying was that anytime that there's something going on, and which I don't completely disagree with this, but I don't think that's within this situation. Anytime that the government or the United States or whatever don't want niggas to know something or don't want us to be involved, they'll distract Black Twitter, distract Black Instagram. He said Black TikTok, Black everything because all he's seen is the P. Diddy stuff. He said that's all we're worried about is this and this and that. Meanwhile, they're trying to distract you that Trump and Kamala don't have a plan for the Black community in 2024 or in their when whoever's elected. And I do agree with that. I don't think Kamala has a plan for the Black community. And even though I thought she did a phenomenal job in her little debate with Trump, I don't think she has a plan for the Black community. I believe she's even said she has fake said she does, but I believe there's been anyway, another thing, not politics. And I also believe that Trump doesn't have, I know that nigga ain't got a plan for the Black community. I don't even have to, I know he doesn't. But again, we all know who Umar is. Umar's personality is Black versus white. He gets up every day thinking, what can I make Black versus white today? You know, that is Umar's personality. That's his personality. So for him to try to say that is a distraction from, it's not him making comparisons of Black and white is not a shock to me, because I knew he would eventually get on here and do that, but that's not what they're doing. It's not a distraction from the election. Again, they wanted to charge Sean Combs in January, the beginning of this year. But ducks weren't in a row. So no, it's not a distraction to the election. It's not trying to do any of that shit. Then in this one, he says that, hold on, what is he saying? Because it's not. In this one, he says, Sean Puppy Combs' federal charges have little, if anything, to do with domestic abuse or pedophilia. And he's absolutely right on that. He's absolutely right on that. It has nothing to do with pedophilia because they don't have that. That's been mentioned, but they don't have enough evidence to pin child pornography or pedophilia on him right now. It's a charge that they are trying to pin on him, but it's not something that they have enough evidence to pin on him right now. So right there, he is correct when he says that. But when he says that he is not have little or nothing to do with domestic abuse. Okay, well, let's go back and look at it again. I don't believe that it's on here, and I actually don't want to play it because it was disturbing to watch the first time when it got shared of Cassie getting the dog shit beat out of her by Sean. Little or nothing to do with domestic abuse. I don't think Cassie would say that. I don't think that the other however many victims that have come forward, and it's not just women. I'm going to make that clear. These aren't just women that are making claims of being hit. Lil Rod in his statement said that he was being hit too and abused by P. Diddy too. So it's not just women. These are men coming forward. These are people that have been in his camp coming forward. These are witnesses that have witnessed these things happen coming forward, saying that he has put his hands on people. That is how he shows his dominance. He's in there and he is the Don in his house, in his little criminal organization. You cross me, I will take everything away from you. That's how he threatened the people that worked for him. I bought you your house, I can take away your house. I bought you that car, I can take away your car. I got you this job, I can make you broke and blackball you to where you never get another job. These are the type of things that are coming forward, and people, and on top of that, holding a steady hand to like saying, try me, because I will slap the shit out of you. So again, you're wrong to come on here and say that there's little to nothing to do with domestic abuse. Shut the nigga. What are you? And then says, he's saying he's being accused of transporting women across state lines to engage in sex. And again, now on this one, I'm done. I don't even want to go back into that. I'm done because it's repeating what I've said about almost every single one of these. It's not just about having sex. So don't listen to the ignorance from Umar. I'm sure none of you are. This was something I really wanted to talk about because it is something I've been following for a long time. I don't think I've really said this to you guys, but one of the things that I wanted to do out of high school was go to college to be a lawyer. I had said that from middle school on up when the dreams of basketball became real and was like, oh, well, you're not going to the NBA. It's like, okay, what's realistic? I wanted to be a lawyer and just ended up taking different paths. Something I really wish I could have done and been a lawyer, but this is something I have followed. When it comes to stuff that I actually am interested in, I follow and I study it. These niggas don't know what they're talking about. They absolutely, positively, without a doubt, are just getting online for clicks, or just getting online to spread these bogus fucking takes to try to make it seem like this is a black and white thing, that they're trying to hang P. Diddy out as this black savior, and he's the example that they're going to use for the black community. Niggas, stop it. Like that's not it at all. Again, all the charges named, that's what it is. All the charges named, that's what it is. So thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I appreciate every single one of you, all 44 of you, for listening to me rant on about P. Diddy. But like I said, this is something that I wanted to talk about very, very much. And it is something that I'm going to continue to talk about as more comes out about this, because I think that this nigga, as they have said, the charges for him could get him locked up in jail for the rest of his life. I hope that's what happens to him. I hope he gets locked up for the rest of his life, because if the shit with Justin Bieber is true, if the shit with all the other people that have come forward is true, I truly believe it is. He deserves to sit and rot behind bars with everybody else that was involved with him. That's why people aren't coming forward. The Kutchers, talking about where's the Ashton Kutcher? Brother, where's Ashton Kutcher? I forgot who said that. Somebody said that on Twitter. I saw somebody say, well, the Kutchers need to come forward. If Ashton would just come forward and give a statement, it could make a lot of this go away. The same Kutchers, the same Ashton and Mila Kutcher, or Mila Kunis Kutcher, whatever the fuck her last name is, that were defending what's his name from that 70s show that had so many counts of the essays on him, said that they would let their daughter spend the night with him and all this kind of shit. Isn't he behind bars right now? Those Kutchers? Okay. Right. Again, avoid ignorance online. All these people are fucking ignorant. So again, thanks for coming to the TED Talk. There was a lot of comments kind of coming down there as I was talking, but yeah. So yeah. Oh yeah, and I think yeah. So anyway, yeah, thanks. That's what I wanted to say about the P. Diddy stuff. Like I said, I'm gonna be paying attention to that for sure in the coming, whatever happens to him in the coming days. But all right, so we'll move there. I appreciate it. Zen said he's here for it. Cornelia said Terrence Howard's character from Empire, Lucius Lyon, was supposed to be the type of Diddy figure. This makes me think how a lot of people across industries knew this stuff. Oh yeah, they all knew. That's why people aren't coming forward, because they're like, oh shit, I was there. I witnessed shit. I didn't say anything, or I might have even helped. Yeah, I'm telling you. But see, Cat called this, bruh. At the beginning of the year, when he sat down on Club Shay Shay, Cat said a lot of shit is going to come out from Holly Weird. What, bro? And it's all coming out. Let's see what else. D Sizzle said Umar hosted a few freak off fundraisers for his struggled school. Yeah, and where is that school? That's the question. I think I saw somebody else in the chat ask that. Where's the school, Umar? Where is the school? Umar is constantly talking about black this for the black community, and we got to do this for the black community. It's the white man this and these snow bunnies that and ... all this kind of shit. But meanwhile, is this nigga just pocketing the money for this school that he's raising money for? Where is this school? I ain't seen a wall built. All this time this nigga has to hop on these lives looking sweaty as fuck, like he just ran to do a live stream, panting like he just ran out of breath, and with them all that shit. Why no videos or live streams of the school? A wall or something, a pipe, nigga, something, water pipe, the plumbing, is something done in the school? Can we see receipts for the smart board? Something, desk, anything? Nothing comes from Umar unless he's talking about black versus white. That's the only time you hear anything from Umar. If it's black versus white, oh, that nigga's first in line. And I'm not saying that there are times where he is wrong on some of the shit he's or not right on some of the shit he says. I've agreed with him on some shit he says, but I disagree with him more than I do agree. Let's see. D Sizzle also said most celebs been quiet. John C, appreciate you being here. Andre said, ain't no confusion. Ray J is confused. Boy, Ray J is beyond confused. Ray J is beyond confused. D Stizzle said, Usher said he lost his virginity at Puffy's crib. This was before he blew up. Yeah. There's all the weird Usher shit too. You know, the whole thing. I've told you, I've been following this shit like a pin, bro. I every time I'm paying attention to what's going on. Usher's Twitter just got wiped. All his tweets just got deleted. Every tweet he's ever tweeted has been deleted. He claims, like everybody claims, like Shannon Sharp claimed, and that proves to you that is the go-to for everything that happens online and things like that. Shannon Sharp got online and said, I was hacked, to get online later that same day on doing a live stream and say, I wasn't hacked. I got to tell you all the truth. That's the go-to. Usher wasn't hacked. Usher's Twitter was not hacked. Who's going to hack Usher's Twitter and say, you know what? Out of everything I could do with Usher's Twitter, I am in control of Usher's Twitter right now. I could DM people. I could tweet crazy shit. I could tell fans, hey, I'm broke. Send me money to this address, and dumbass fans would do it. I could do anything. But you telling me the person that hacked Usher's Twitter decided with all that power, I want to delete all his tweets, and then I'm going to sit back and go, ha, I got Usher. Shut the fuck up. You're not talking to second grade kids. You're not talking to a school full of kindergartners. I'm a grown-ass fucking nigga, grown-ass man with a high-ass IQ. You are not going to sit here and tell me that just you got hacked and somebody, the thing that they wanted to do to hurt you was delete your tweets? No. Shit's getting hot. The block is getting hot. Shit is coming up. People, and just because the tweets are deleted don't mean that the FBI can't go in there and pull that shit anyway. If it was, he wasn't really hacked or whatever. All of it's coming to light. What's done in the dark is coming to the light. Usher's not free either. You gave little Justin's, if that's true, you gave little Justin's virgin to P. Diddy too, to have him have a freak off. Yeah, no, it's Usher's not out the water too. None of them are. Gray said, Raymond said, I absolutely believe all these people defending him either were in those rooms or are guilty of something he knows about, and they're shaking in their boots because they know he's going to snitch. Yeah, I think so too. That's the next thing. Diddy's about to tell and he's on suicide watch because he's in the same jail house that Epstein was in. So he's in the same jail place that Epstein was in, and they have him on suicide watch, and they're having him talking to a counselor every day because reports are saying that he's on edge. I mean, I'd be on edge too. I'd be on edge too if everything I've been working so hard to keep a secret, my criminal empire, all this shit's going on, and it's about to get all exposed. I tell you what, I'm not going down alone. That's probably what he's thinking. I'm not going down alone. I'm going to tell it on everybody. Jaguar Wright said Jay-Z was next. I don't have any information to further that. I don't know what she means by that. I don't know what rooms Jay-Z is in. Every time I see Jay-Z, he's shaking hands with white folks. I don't know what she's talking about. So we just sit back and we wait. Because just like we sat back and we waited when she did all the interviews talking about this was going to happen and this was going to happen and it's happened, we sit back and wait. When Kat was talking about it's going to happen, it's happened. Sit back and wait. So I don't know if Jay-Z is next, but that's what Jag says. Gray said the walls in Diddy's house are literally taking in those security videos. Diddy had all over his home. Yep. Zen said I'm only invested because I grew up in the 90s too. Jabari said I hit it the first was Ray J. That was a Ray J hit, wasn't it? That was a Ray J hit. I hit it first. I forgot about that one. Yeah. Every time I think Ray J, though, the first thing that comes to mind is One Wish. He's whining the whole song. I like the song. Whining the whole song. Who's the Yeah. One Wish. Ray J. Raymond said, "Look, I've never been a fan of Diddy or Jakes or Ray J. So none of this is swaying me. Throw everybody responsible in jail. Right. Right. Cornelia said, "My only shock is possibly TD. I just want to know who was being swallowed up allegedly by Thomas Dexter. You know, there's all that. There's that shit too. Again, you don't. That's the thing. That's the thing, bro. All these people, all of these people, all of the people that you think or presume to think or whatever we think about these celebrities. That's why I always say we don't know these people. We don't know these people. So I hate when people get online and pretend to know celebrities. You don't know these people. Like when everybody was talking about Ezra Miller. Oh, he's this. You don't know Ezra Miller. You know what Ezra Miller chooses to allow you to know of him online when he shares his life or whatever he chooses to share. But you don't know these people. So stop pretending to know these people. Let's see. Okay. We'll move. But yeah. Yeah, that was it. That was it on that. Again, I'm gonna be following that for sure. So we'll move to the next thing here on the list. So the Superman film that is starring David Cornsweet Cornsweet is coming out in 2025, and there have been some news that has come out about it. And I'm a little late on this, but there's been some other things too. There's been some news that's come out about it, and we got a little summary from it. And what they are saying in the summary for the Superman film is that parts of, I guess there was a trailer or something that they put together, James Gunn and DC had put together to show at an event, and they showed this at the event, and they say that parts of John Williams' score was played. Superman crashing in the snow in the suit is battle damaged. They show Lex Luthor stepping out of a helicopter, completely comic accurate with arrogance and smugness. Guy Gardner flipping tanks. A woman taking selfies with a superhero shooting energy out of her hands. Superman protecting a child, and I think that this protecting the child thing comes in with some of the behind the scenes photos we've seen of him with all the children and some of the other heroes that are there. We saw Guy Gardner, we saw Mr. Terrific, we saw Hawk Girl, and I forget who's playing Hawk Girl. She just played an alien Romulus. I forget her name. Oh gosh, I forget her name. But she says that what we've seen in the behind the scenes photos that have been taken so far of the costumes outside of Superman's, those are not the costumes, like always with most superhero films, those are not the costumes that they are going to end the film with, or progressively, maybe toward the middle of the film, they're going to get new ones or something like that. But those aren't, because I remember I even said, I don't like Hot Girl's outfit. And that's one of the most excited characters I'm excited to see come into live action and into the DC universe, but I did not like the costume that was shown in the behind the scenes photos. So she is saying that the photos are going to yes, Isabella, is that her name? Thank you, Gray. That she is going to or the suits that they're going to get later on in the film are going to be different. So then they go on to say that Superman, or it says comic accurate Lois Lane talking with members of the Daily Planet, Superman and Lois flying romantically, Superman screaming and trying to hold back something or someone. And then Daniel RPK said that he's also heard that the new Superman movie is fantastic. Because again, they showed some of the showings for it, early screenings for what they have together. It's not obviously not fully done, but what they've got done, they showed to some people, and they said, and they are going all out. It is a complete shift. It is a complete shift to hardcore sci-fi fantasy, the exact opposite of Man of Steel. It's set in a world very different from ours, and is far removed from the DCEU. Heroes have been around for ages, and we will see how it affects this world's history and shapes the DCU. That is something I really like. That was something that I was wanting James Gunn to come in and do when we had first heard that they were doing the reboot. We had first heard that all this stuff that we were doing the reboot. I was like, please don't do origin stories. Don't have us get every character one by one. Then the Justice League forms. The Justice League is already a thing. I'm pretty sure. The heroes, as you heard, there's a lady taking selfies with heroes. So this is the age of heroes. They've been around for ages in this DC universe, and this is not going to be new. So the only origin story, I guess, is that of Superman that we're going to see in this film. I don't even know if it is an origin story in this. So we'll get to see that. Frank Gilroy has just recently talked with Screen Rant, and he said that Guardians, James Gunn, obviously being the director of Guardians in the MCU, says that Guardians is a small thing compared to what this guy has in mind for DC. So stay tuned. And I've talked about it before. You guys have talked about it before as well. Superman is on one of my most anticipated things for 2025. There's a lot of films coming out in 2025, but the Superman film is one of my most anticipated things. I am really ready to see the Superman film. I want a really good Superman film. I think that obviously it not being an origin and not being a thing where heroes are, slowly being introduced as we go on a 13, 14, 15-year journey. It's not, I'm glad it's not going to be that. So I'm looking forward to Superman. I'm looking forward to seeing David portray Superman. I thought that when he was cast, perfect casting as far as the looks go and everything like that. If you haven't seen David acting in anything else, he is a pretty good actor. How he'll pull off Kal-El, I'm not sure, but from what others have said, obviously maybe they have to say this because they're just working with him currently, but from what we've heard, he is fantastic as Superman. So again, I'm really looking forward to this. It comes out in 2025. It comes out the same month as Fantastic Four, so it will be competing with Fantastic Four and Jurassic Park 19. So there's going to be a lot of stuff going on in 2025, and Superman is one of them. So that's some of the things. And it comes out July 11th, 2025. That is, and we're also rumored to get a trailer for Superman before Mufasa. It's rumored. I don't know if this is true. In December. So in December, we are rumored to get a trailer for Superman that's going to play in front of Mufasa. So if you go see Mufasa in theaters, after that weekend, I'm sure, or that same weekend, it'll probably drop online. But if you go see Mufasa in theaters, you will likely see the Superman trailer if that rumor is to be believed. So that is what we know for Superman. Obviously, more might come out and will come out once we've had visuals and seen the trailer and things like that. I'm ready for that as well. Staying on with the DC news, we've got some things for Batman, the Batman 2, starring Robert Pattinson. Everybody that enjoyed the first Batman is really anticipating the second Batman film. I really did have fun with the first Batman film. I thought it was very comic accurate as far as like the way Gotham looked. Obviously not like not Riddler and things like that, because they're not trying to keep that stuff comic accurate, as Matt Reeves has said many, many times. But as far as like how Gotham looked, and as far as like just the tone of Gotham, I thought that was pretty comic accurate with it there. But I really did enjoy I didn't think I was going to like the whole take they did on the Riddler. I did enjoy the take they did on the Riddler, but my whole thing with Matt Reeves has been this from the beginning. I don't know how many Batman stories I personally, now your mileage may vary, how I personally want to sit through that are very realistic. I enjoyed this Batman film. It was cool. The whole, Zodiac killer vibe that you had with the Riddler. I liked it. I didn't think I was. It's fine. But when you start talking villains like Clayface, when you start talking villains like the Man Bat, when you start talking villains like Mr. Freeze and those type of guys that still are, Batman is a regular man with money that goes out and fights, crime as a vigilante. He does not have any superpowers, and these are things that we all know. And this is something that Matt Reeves is trying to play on, the realness of Batman. But I think for a lot of us, what makes Batman so fantastical and why he is a lot of our favorites, why he's definitely one of my favorites, is because he is a regular man doing this shit in a universe where he is just a man. He is, none of his villains are caliber type villains that Kal-El is going up against with superpowers and abilities to really just snap Batman or anything like that. But the villains that he does go up against, like Clayface, I don't know if I want to see a realistic Clayface, because the rumor, has been that it's Clayface or the Court of Owls is going to be the among some others that are rumored. Let me read this firstly before I get to that, because Matt Reeves has kind of spoken on this. Matt Reeves spoke with the SFX magazine, and he said that in another epic, that Batman 2 is going to be another epic mystery. It's going to dig into the epic story about deeper corruption and goes into places he couldn't even anticipate in the first one. So when it says it's going into places that he could anticipate in the first one, that leads me to believe that it's going to be the Court of Owls. I don't think Clayface is going to be something that is going to deeper in corruption that's going to lead you into something that he couldn't even anticipate with the first one. When I'm thinking deeper corruption, I'm thinking Court of Owls. Again, this has been a long time rumor that the Court of Owls was going to be and I think Robert Pattinson even hinted at that in a interview a while back, because I remember that, all the people, scoopers and stuff, are like, oh, Robert Pattinson said this about this could hint to the Court of Owls. So I think that the Court of Owls is more realistic here. He also talked about wanting to continue to have the Batman universe feel real, as I was talking about. He said that the Batman universe might push to the edge of fantastical, but would never go into full fantastical, and that's what Okay, that's fine. What was important to me was to find a way to take these pop icons, these mythical characters that everybody knows, and translate it so that Gotham feels like a place in our world. Yeah, but see, Gotham isn't a place in our world. That's the reality of it. We don't have a man dressed as a bat that's rich as fuck going around fighting ISIS or crime or anything like that. We don't have that. That's already in itself unrealistic and mythical. So we've talked about this before, having directors and things come in with takes that I want to see what it would be like this way, but that's just not the way that we as fans have consumed the properties or consumed the media or whatever. And that's just not the way we want to see it. We want to see it the way that we've envisioned it, or the way we've read about it, the way that we've envisioned possibly seeing it on the screen if we were to see it on the screen. So this whole Batman, like the whole, the rumor with the Clayface thing was it was going to be a villain that was going to be like kind of like a serial killer. Well, a serial killer that was going to be taking people's faces and using the faces, using their faces as his identity or whatever. The rumor with Mr. Freeze was it was going to be a villain it's Mr. Freeze, but instead of physically freezing his victims like Mr. Freeze is going to put them in meat lockers, and he's a serial killer. And it's just like, it's very not what I really wanted for Batman when I think Batman at all. Like I said, you got away with the Zodiac Killer with the Riddler. I don't know how many times you can put Batman in this realistic atmosphere and expect people to bite. And I could be wrong. Maybe that is something that a lot of people are wanting. They're wanting. And again, I know Batman is more realistic than the others, but I don't want to see a Mr. Freeze a villain that's freezing his victims in a meat locker. Reeves also explained his approach for the Batman trilogy, saying we wanted to make these stories remain Batman and Bruce centric. They are detective stories. What he's at the center of the mystery that he's got to get to is at the core of each story. He also says it's also been confirmed that Reeves, when he was speaking with Entertainment Weekly, that the script is finished and that the current Penguin show is going to lead directly into the Batman 2. Jeff or whoever, I don't know if it was Jeff Snyder. Jeff Snyder said that Robert Pattinson is going to show up as Batman. Or going to show up in the show. We don't know if that's going to be as Batman or as Bruce Wayne. I'm hedging my bets. It's probably going to just be Bruce Wayne. Probably not going to be in the bat suit. And if he is, I didn't watch the Penguin show. I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really have a desire to watch the Penguin show. So unless there's something online that's like, it is fantastic, you got to check this out, I probably won't be watching the Penguin show. But the show, if you are watching, is going to lead directly into the Batman 2. But some of the rumored villains are the Court of Owls, Clayface, Mr. Freeze, Scarecrow. Yeah, those guys. And the Batman 2, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, and the Lanterns all begin filming in 2025. So they start filming that next year. So it's filming at the same time that I guess Spider-Man 4 starts filming. So the Batman, and that is what's going on with Superman, Batman, somewhat of the DC news. Also, the last thing I'll say here, I didn't put it on the list, but I am going to say this: the Joker 2 comes out in a few days, I believe, too. Um, I I have zero desire to see it, and that is crazy because you guys have heard me say my all-time favorite villain ever is the Joker. He's above all of like any. I love the Joker. It's my favorite all-time favorite villain. Um, I have zero desire to see the Joker 2, and it's because one, some of the things I've heard about it, about what people have. Again, as I always say, I do want to see things for myself, but I do. One of the things I know is it's a musical. I don't really care to go see the Joker running around the entire movie, um, dancing and singing with Lady Gaga. Without a real like, so that's my thing. There's no plan. There's what is there a plot? Is there a plan? Is he trying to do something to Gotham, poison the water? Is he trying to, I don't know, put smiles on everybody's faces? Is he, I don't know. Is he holding a orphanage hostage and Batman's got 10 minutes to get there before he blows? I don't know. Is any of that happening? Or is this motherfucker just walking downstairs with Lady Gaga, kicking and screaming and dancing and going to be doing these damn singing numbers? Because if that's it, keep that shit. When they said that they were only going to do one, they should have only done one. But of course, money speaks, and Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix said they're coming back for the second one. I without a story, I just wouldn't have. And I'm not spoiling. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody. But if this film ends the way that it's rumored to end, why are you doing this? Like, what else world? There doesn't need to be a 3. There shouldn't have been a 2. Honestly, there should not have been a 2. The first one was fine. It was great the way it was. It made over $1 billion. Rated R film. First rated R film. Was it the first rated R film to do that? One of the first or something like that. Rated R film. It was, it was great. I saw it in theaters twice. Saw it at home. Like, it was a very good movie. You didn't need to go and do a second one because, again, I just don't think that there's a storyline where the Joker is doing Joker shit. And maybe that's the point. Maybe this Joker is just not the Joker that we all know. There's a different take on the Joker. And obviously, it is a different take. It's a completely different take. But I didn't expect it to be, okay, well, now let's do a musical and have him just running around New York like a maniac. And because that's all the trailers. If you look at the trailers, that's what most of the trailers are. Most of the trailers are him running. Most of the trailer is him dancing with Gaga. And most of the trailer is Gaga doing that thing. And then, So, DC, I'm sure they're going to turn it around with the Superman, but that Elseworld shit with Joker 2, if you are happy and you're going to go see that, have fun. I don't think that I am going to be reporting on that one. I know Q is going to go see it. I think Q's still interested in seeing it. Me, not so much. Let's see. Raymond said, Darius, it is fantastic. And I hated the Batman. I know you hated the Batman. I did not hate the Batman. I liked it. Xavier said Penguin's off to a great start. Okay, might have to check it out. Maybe, I don't know. He said I wasn't anticipating it either, but I was pleasantly surprised. Really? So maybe I should, because I also said the same thing about Agatha. I was pleasantly surprised, which we'll get to. Brother Stark said I would love to see Man Bat in a horror element like the Decent. Matt Reeves films should stick with realistic villains and save the fantastical villains for other films. It could work. It still could work. My thing is, I think it's the same thing. I don't know how James Gunn gets around that part. I mean, I guess you just do it. You just do it and you ignore whatever people are saying online. Like, it doesn't matter, even though he's not going to do that. James Gunn has to reply to everybody. But my thing that I would do would be, you said you weren't gonna do the whole 2 Superman things or have a Superman in this world and do the DC, finish the DCEU stuff because it would confuse people having 2 Batmans, having 2 Supermans. You're still gonna have 2 Batmans. You're gonna have Matt Reeves as Batman, unless they force Matt Reeves to bring his Batman over, which they've pitched to him before and he's already said no. But I mean, he is with James Gunn being the head of the studio, he can make that call whether Matt Reeves wants to do it or not. I'm pretty sure, unless there's some type of contractual things that say no, but Matt Reeves has said no. So you're still going to have 2 Batmans. You're going to have the Batman from Brave and the Bold in the DC reboot, and you're going to have the Batman in the Elseworld stuff. So I think that's where people are going to get confused with the whole, like, Okay, so the people when I say people are confused, people that aren't in this shit like we are, I can definitely know the difference between, okay, that's Pattinson Batman and that's a different Batman. Why we have two of them, not my business, but I'll go watch the movies. Um, but the regular fans are going to be like, well, is this Batman connected to this? And well, is I thought Batman, well, the last movie I saw, this Batman didn't. So it's just like James is going to have to figure out how they're going to do all that, and it still can work to where you have Reeves is keeping his grounded and realistic and things like that. My thing with that is, like I just said, I just don't know how you really keep fans captivated with Batman going up against a Mr. Freeze that's putting bodies in meat lockers. So is this like so what is this like? What is this man's special skills? Is he like special ops or something? What is he? How is he formidable against Batman? Like, Batman being the martial artist he is, Batman having the gear and gadgets he does. Not to say that the Riddler was some type of martial artist. He just outsmarted Batman, and Batman had to do those riddles. Mr. Freeze is not that type of villain to outsmart Batman. Now, has he outsmarted Batman in times? Yes, he has, but he's not the villain that's like coming up with this mastermind plan to outdo Batman here. He's trying to outdo Batman physically as well as here, but physically as well. And so what is this? What does this look like? Is this just like some guy that went off the edge, had a bad day at work, and said, you know what? I'm freezing you motherfuckers. Like, who is this guy? Like, so that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, how do you make Mr. Freeze work in a realistic setting and keep fans captivated to like, yeah, that was great. That works. So to me, that's gonna have to be really figured out on that one. Let's see. Kevin said James Gunn will make good Superman films. Will the audience go to the theaters and support this film to make a profit for Warner Brothers? Yeah, that'll be the thing. But I think people are going to go see the film. It's especially if depending on what that first trailer looks like as well, people are going to go see it. It's one thing that James Gunn does really well. And I give credit where it is due. He has one of the best trilogies in the MCU with the Guardians, and all those films are done very well in a time that Marvel is shit on the ground right now. He delivered a gem in Guardians 3. We were coming off the hills of some shit to have some ease with the Guardians to, I think, go into whatever came after the Guardians. I don't remember what came after the Guardians. But yeah, so I think that I believe you. I believe he will. We'll have to wait and see. Gray said, if it sticks to the noir detective action mix it has going with the characters, I'm interested. I think of Batman as a graphic novel on film. Yeah, dope too. Xavier said, oh, I read that one. Andre said, Penguin is good. You should watch it. I'll probably check it out. Because I did really like Colin Farrell as Cobblepot's, or I guess he's just Cobb in this. He's not Cobblepot's. Why are we always changing shit? He's just Cobb in this. He's not Cobblepot's. He's Oz Cobb. Well, no, he's Oz. He's Cobblepot's, not Oz Cobb. Brother Stark said Sony villains' efforts have been trashed. DC is doing the Penguin justice. It's good. I agree with you on that Sony shit. That is definitely trash. They do have my interest with Noel. They have my interest with Venom 3 with Noel coming in and things like that, and this whole hive mind thing, and them wanting to branch out, and which I've been saying that they wanted to connect the whole Spider-Man universe, Sony, the Spider-Geddon thing they're trying to do, the third installment to Miles Morales' Beyond the Spider-Verse, and how that's supposed to break into live action, all that stuff. They're seeming like maybe they might have some sort of, I'm not giving them credit at all. Maybe they might have some sort of plan together with Marvel and Kevin Feige on how to make this work or how to fix it or whatever. Because now Noel is even rumored to be one of the villains or the villain in Spider-Man 3 or Spider-Man 4. Sorry, Spider-Man 4 with Tom Holland. So, who knows? But you have my interest now in Venom 3 with Noel showing up for sure. You have my interest there where it was just going to be Toxin. You didn't, because I was sick of just Venom fighting more symbiotes. I'm like, okay, well, I'm out. I'm done. He's not fighting Spider-Man. I don't give a fuck. But when you add Noel, my interest is piqued, and I hope Norman Reedus does justice in this. I hope, they've managed to keep this a secret, so I hope that he does this justice. I say keep this a secret, but Alex over the Cosmic Circus talked about this back in April of last year. I hope that they do this justice. This is not just we kind of talked about this during the Pantheon. This is not just a regular old villain here. Noel is a Thanos level villain. And when you're bringing in Noel and you're bringing in the hive mind and you're bringing in all the symbiotes and things like that, this is the same God that, the head that's in the MCU, the celestial head that's floating around nowhere. This is Noel, the symbiote God, the same guy that cut that celestial's head off. The same guy that has the necro sword that you fucking wasted in Thor Love and Thunder, but this is that guy. I'm assuming he has his own since he's from his own universe. So that shit that they did with Gore, not Noel's. Hopefully he has his own. I don't know. You got to do this justice. The Thanos level villain here for Spider-Man and Venom. But that's supposed to be rumored wise paid off. Tom is rumored to had shot scenes or not scenes, post-credit scenes possibly for this that are going to lead into where we're going in the multiverse with Secret Wars, Doomsday, Spider-Man 4, all that shit. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see when it comes out, but it does have my interest where it did not. Chill said, I'll be surprised if Joker 2 makes half. I don't think it will. I'd be surprised too. I don't think it will. I think people have already had their minds made up. That first trailer didn't wow anyone. No one was really talking about it. It didn't move any needles for me, for sure. So I'm not too interested. Secret Invasion in the Marvels, Gray. You're right. That's what came after. So we went from shit to, okay, that was fun, to wow, back to shit. So so in a rocky time, he gave us a gem. Kevin said HBO is struggling right now. They need hit shows besides House of the Dragon and The Last of Us. Venom: The Last Dance will be moderate success for Sony Pictures, possibly. But throwing in Nolan there, word of mouth will get around for it. I don't believe. I don't, and I could be wrong, and I might be wrong. I do not believe Venom's going to have a stellar opening weekend. I don't. I think audiences have spoken. I think we as the fans, we know what we want. People did not go see Madam Web because why? People did not go see what was the other thing, the Marvels, because why? Like, people know. And then people were saying, well, it's because Marvel's failing. No. Look at Deadpool and Wolverine, which I highlighted before Deadpool and Wolverine even dropped. It was never a superhero fatigue thing. It was never like, oh, I'm so sick of superhero movies, can we do something new? No, it was people saying, I'm sick of shitty superhero movies, I'm sick of shitty dialogue, I'm sick of shitty writers, I'm sick of shitty people coming in thinking that the character needs to be revised and that this person needs this name now and he's Oz Cobb and like all that shit. I'm like, people know what they want. So maybe Venom 3 is going to do the numbers because Venom 2 didn't do the numbers that Venom 1 did. And again, it's because people are sick and tired of Sony's bullshit. Maybe if you flashed something of Spider-Man in the next trailer, give one more, even though the final trailer has already come out, maybe you should have flashed something of Spider-Man in that trailer. And maybe you're trying to keep it a secret to where it can be a word of mouth thing, but that's dangerous. I wouldn't have done that. Because then people are just going to say, well, I'll just wait for the post-credit scene on whatever. If people find out it's a post-credit scene before knowing it's a post-credit scene, it becomes dangerous. Why would I go sit through this whole ass movie to just see a post-credit scene? That's the only thing I care about. I'll wait till the post-credit scene leaks online. That's what they do. So if I was Sony, what I would have done, if Spider-Man is in this in any type of capacity, you want to get people somewhat interested in a Spider-Man S project, his villain, flash the colors, flash the chest. I don't know, something with Spider-Man, something that indicates, hey guys, I understand that this is a Spider-Man villain, and we did the first movie fucking years ago. We did the second movie, still no Spider-Man. We're doing the third movie, still no Spider-Man. We're doing Craven, no Spider-Man. We did Morbius, sorry, no Spider-Man. People are sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I'm one of those people that's sick and tired of being sick and tired. I've said it before. Sony's not missing my little $17 IMAX ticket. I don't give a shit to see Craven. I didn't give a shit to see Venom. Noel is the only reason I'm watching Venom in theaters. I wasn't going to see Venom in theaters. I wasn't wasting my time. Just like I'm damn sure not wasting my time with Craven. I don't give a fuck about Craven's origin story that's botched, but you wanted to do Craven, you want to do something with Spider-Man's villains, Craven's Last Hunt. Why not do that? Why not do Craven's Last Hunt with whatever Spider-Man you said back during Morbius? If you take yourself all the way back to Morbius, when they're doing press talk for Morbius, they said that they had a Spider-Man they were going to introduce. They just weren't ready at that time during Morbius. When did that fucking film come out? And we still have not seen a Spider-Man. The closest thing you're getting in it, Spider-Man, I'm watching it, is going to be Nicolas Cage's Noir Spider-Man, the live action series. But Spider-Man showing up in a Sony movie? No, people are sick and tired of that bullshit. Nobody wants to go. And again, if you are that somebody that wants to go watch Craven, tell me how it is. If you were that somebody that was going to go see Venom before Noel, okay. I'm glad you're having fun with it. I'm not having fun with watching Venom slapping people, taking over different animals, hanging out on Eddie's couch, going on dates with Eddie, always fighting another symbiote, cooking Eddie breakfast. If that is your version of what you want to see Venom doing, then happy day. You are having a good time. You are eating because he's doing all those things. I don't want to see that's not my idea of wanting to go sit down and see Venom. I want to see Venom versus Spider-Man. I want to see Spider-Man in some capacity. So yeah, if that's great, have fun with that. That's just not what I'm looking for. Kevin also said Agatha all along, just okay show. Catherine Hahn and Aubrey Plaza give good performances. I've said since WandaVision, Catherine Hahn was the reason that I was so excited before my excitement faded for Agatha. And not just on top of my love for witchcraft and voodoo and all that witchy type shit like that. But Catherine Hahn's performance as Agatha in WandaVision, despite what some of you might think about WandaVision, WandaVision is still to this day one of the best. Well, there's not many to choose from because the rest of that shit is shit outside of Loki. Shows put on Disney Plus by Marvel. I heard Josh at the Dinner Nerd say the other day that the finale to WandaVision is shit. It's flawed. I went back and I actually watched it today. When I watched that, like 3 a.m. actually was up. I was DoorDashing till like 5 or something like that, and then decided, hey, let's throw on WandaVision. So we watched the finale of WandaVision, and it's flawed. There are some flaws in it, but it's not. When I say it's flawed, I pointed, and I could be being biased just because I really like Elizabeth Olsen as the Scarlet Witch. I really love that whole. I'm sick and tired of it. Like back in 20, whenever the show came out, 2021, I was so ready for where are we going with where's Vision? Where are we going with the kids and are we going Children's Crusade? I had a whole I was so on board with all of that. I'm actually one that I don't care for Multiverse of Madness like that, but I'm not one that condemns and just like, oh, I hate Multiverse of Madness. I like it because of WandaVision, because of Wanda. It is Wanda's movie, like everybody says. I love how Elizabeth Olsen just tackles Scarlet Witch. I just thought it was great. I love the conversation between her and Strange before she unleashes on Kamar-Taj. All of that. I love it. The conversation which she has with him in the garden where she says, if either you do this or it won't be Wanda that comes for her to be the Scarlet Witch. Like the threats, because she knows she's unstoppable. Just all that shit. I loved it. So I was super excited for all of that stuff going on with Wanda and WandaVision and anything that could come from it. I don't so much care anymore. Like as far as like our Vision Quest, I don't care. I know I've seen a lot of people saying too with their theories. I know Blue came in and told me that he thought that Joe Locke's character is Nicholas Scratch or someone else. I don't think so. And even with the newest trailer that they just showed, they show, and Marvel does this all the time. I feel like they show too much in these trailers. Stop giving us a sneak peek of each episode before the as far as like they'll drop a trailer, a whole minute 30-second trailer with brand new shit in it, and it's like, stop showing all this shit. Like, let people be surprised. But in that trailer that I was not even trying to watch, it just was on my timeline, there was a clip in it of Joe Locke's character, which I have said from the beginning I still believe is Wiccan, and he's got the blue magic around his hand, kind of like when Wanda is getting ready to do her shit with, with her magic. So I still believe that's Wiccan. I don't believe that that is Nicholas or anybody else. Um, so they've shown that with it. So I think that I think they're doing a good job with Agatha so far, and I'm going to get on that in just a second after I finish these. Raymond said Agatha is okay, just okay so far. Xavier said Sony will stay on that BS. They never learn. Kevin said Lucasfilm going to play it safe just to make money, and we're going to get on Lucasfilm too. Gray said they could have easily put Garfield and Venom and Craven. Yeah, but see, the thing about that is Garfield also said his working with Sony. I don't know if he wants to work with Sony unless Marvel themselves, MCU Marvel, is involved. He had a shit time, obviously, as we all know. Kevin said Beau Demayo claiming Disney told him to make X-97 less gay, not shock or no shock or surprise. We're gonna get to Beau too. Professor the Film fan said Sony should stop doing standalone villain films that don't go anywhere. And Brother Stark said they're milking that WandaVision hype. Yes, they are milking the WandaVision hype for sure. Again, I know things take time. We had a whole pandemic and everything like that, blah, 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 but maybe don't do some of those, because it's just like at that time it was exciting. It's less exciting. And you were talking to somebody that really loved WandaVision. It is less exciting for me. I don't give a shit about Wonder Man, where I actually, before Yaya was announced, I was like, oh yeah, they're doing the whole love triangle thing. We're going to get to see this and this and that. I don't care. I don't. I'm exhausted with it. And if it doesn't progress the multiverse, I don't care. So we'll move on to Agatha, since that's what we're talking about. So the first 2 episodes of Agatha, as you guys know, before Agatha dropped, before all of the rumors, before all the stuff about the show was coming out, it was on my most anticipated list. I said I was really ready for Agatha. Was ready to see Catherine Hahn tackle the role of Agatha again and further it much more than she did in WandaVision. And of course, there's the whole magic aspect of things that I love, and we're getting to see some of that side of the MCU, some more side of that MCU. So I was, at the time, had no idea what Agatha was going to be about, but I was really excited for it, especially with it being somewhat tied to WandaVision. But then rumors started coming out about Agatha, that it was going to be this, it was going to be that. It was everything we've known. I'm not going through all those rumors, but everything that we've heard about Agatha, before we watched the show and things like that. And obviously we still have 7 episodes left, so some of that stuff still could come true. But I was not excited. Where I was excited, it started waning. I was like, I'm not feeling this. I'm not feeling where they're doing with this or anything like that. This seems corny. And then think a lot of it too happened with how just shit the MCU started being, with Secret Invasion, with some of those other shows, The Falcon Winter Soldier, all of them, and how just they weren't great. She-Hulk, Moon Knight. And I was just like, oh, okay, so it's going to be in the same formula, because this was filmed during that same time. It's that same MCU phase 4, phase 5 formula. So we'll see how this goes. I will say that even with the press talking that they were doing before, it was even getting me less excited for it. I was like, oh God, 2 days before, and this is seeming very much like The Acolyte, with the press talk before it and everything like that. But where they have shined, the Acolyte, where The Acolyte failed, they are shining. It is actually not bad. It's not bad. The first 2 episodes have not been bad. The people that have got to see the first 4 episodes say that it does slow down in tone in these next 2 episodes. They've said that the people that got to see it said that the last 2 episodes weren't their favorite. It slowed down, but I've heard it mixed. I've heard it reversed as well. Some people said the last 2 episodes were their favorite. The first 2 were not. But I enjoyed the first 2 episodes, so we'll see what the next 2 are going to be about, how it's going to play out. I didn't mind the singing either. I know I think I confused some people what I said on Twitter. I was watching it, and it was like on 30 or 40 or something on my TV. I had fallen asleep because I was previously tired. It wasn't the show that put me to sleep. I was just previously tired. And I will say that first episode kind of did drag, so maybe that did put me to sleep. Not that I hated it. But I woke up on the second episode of them singing Witch's Road. I turned it off, and I tweeted, I woke up on that and turned it off. I turned it off because I was tired and then Bitches was loud. But when I turned it back on that next day and rewatched it, I've seen people complaining about that. I didn't mind that at all. I've seen people making the comparisons about, there's been other singing, when it comes to witches and things like that, people saying, well, they sang in the Acolyte too or whatever. Yeah, but this is not the same. This is not the same, I don't think. I think that the Witch's Road, the Ballad of the Witch's Road that they sung, that they did, it obviously played a role in progressing the story. You cannot get into the Witch's Road without seeing the Ballad of the Witch's Road. So I thought that, I thought it was fine. I thought that didn't bother me at all. I actually thought that they sounded really phenomenal on it anyway. So it wasn't something that I minded. I've seen some people saying that, they're miserable and they hated it, but I didn't mind it at all. So it has been good. I like the things that they are doing as far as the mystery behind Wiccan, even though I think it's Wiccan. I'm just going to keep saying it's Wiccan. They're trying to make it a mystery with blurring out, when he was telling Agatha where he comes from, or when she asked him, I think his parents' names or something like that, and there was an M or whatever it was. I like it. I like playing on the mystery. Some of the things, the other shots that we've seen in the trailers, I'm interested in seeing. There's the scene of Billy sitting in the circle with the star and the glowing blue. It's very reminiscent, obviously, of Wanda, because that's her child. I'm ready to see where this is going. It's supposed to be its own kind of. It's as long as it's, and I have no expectations either. I think that's what's allowing me to be so free going into this, because I don't have any expectations for this. I don't know what this is going to do. I don't suspect it's going to progress the MCU as far as the multiverse goes. So I have no expectations. Week to week, I'm just tuning in freely. So right now I'm having a good time, and we'll see if that good time continues. And of course, I'll let you guys know. So I asked you guys on Twitter as well, and a lot of people were saying that they were enjoying it. I didn't think I had anybody say that they weren't. Everybody has kind of said the same things like Raymond and others have said. It's okay. Nothing to hate on, really. So yeah, the next episode comes out on Tuesday, every Tuesday, I believe. So I will be tuning in. I'll give you guys my thoughts after the next Tuesday's episode. Let's see what else is on our list. Star Wars. Let's do that really quick. Star Wars, as we all know, if you guys know, I'm a Star Wars fan. Star Wars is in a disarray, has been for a while. The Acolyte, as Jabari just said, was fucking trash. It was whack. It was awful. And if you think that it was great, I love that for you. I've said many times on this channel, and you've heard me say this, when it comes to Marvel, when it comes to DC, when it comes to Star Wars, I was introduced to all at different times in my youth, becoming a lover of all these things. But Star Wars topped them all for me, and will always top them for me. Originally, this channel was going to be a Star Wars channel. It wasn't going to be anything else. Henry and I, my best friend and producer, were talking about this, and it was going to be strictly just a Star Wars channel. We weren't going to do anything else. But obviously, I do like Marvel a lot. I love Marvel too. I love DC and some of these other sci-fi shows and movies, and just movies in general, TV shows. So we turned it into more than just a Star Wars channel. But when it comes to my love for any of them, Star Wars will outweigh them, and it's no competition ever. So if you ever put one of those two up against each other, it's not, I don't need to hesitate. I don't need to think about it. It's always going to be Star Wars for me personally. So that's my stick. That's my shit. I know Star Wars better than I know American history, and that might be dangerous, but I know Star Wars. So when I tell you Star Wars is in disarray and it sucks right now, that's not me being a fanboy. That's not me, oh, you're crying because you didn't get your way, or you're crying because they said the Acolyte was this, or nope. You can take that shit and shove it up your ass. I'm saying that because the Acolyte was shit, and you can take that with your shove it up your ass too. That was awful. I'm saying that because the Book of Boba Fett was awful. I'm saying that because Mando season 3 was awful. I'm saying that because hit or miss episodes with the Bad Batch outside of season 1, outside the first episode, were awful. Mileage may vary if you loved it. Ever since the mouse has taken over, it has been awful. The only thing that Lucasfilm has given to me as a Star Wars fan that's substantial, where I actually can go back and rewatch it, season 1 of The Mandalorian, certain episodes of season 2 of The Mandalorian, um, Rogue One, phenomenal, phenomenal. And at the time when Rogue One was coming out, I said, for why? I said, why are you doing a film where we already know what the fuck happens? Phenomenal, phenomenal. Andor, I know a lot of you love Andor. I know a lot of you had said, Darius, give Andor a try, give it this, give it that. Nope. Sorry, and the reason I'm not giving Andor a try is simply because there is more to Star Wars. I know a lot of you, unless you have been a fan of Star Wars like that, or you really know Star Wars, some of you are coming in during the Disney era. Some of you are coming in during like, oh yeah, Star Wars is fun. I don't really love it, but I have fun with it. Andor is not fun. And if you have fun with it, that's fine. I'm glad that you're having fun with it. Star Wars is a galaxy far, far away. And if you look at the 70s, the 80s, when George Lucas was doing this, there were aliens, there were different species. There are over millions of different species in the Star Wars galaxy. And for whatever reason, every single one of them in Andor is human. And they are sitting there with, I'm not the first episode of Andor for me, it's first impressions or lasting impressions. You had the first episode to reel me in, and you didn't. It was boring. And then when you have Tony Gilroy, the showrunner and director, sitting there talking about don't expect to see, when I don't expect to see him, obviously, don't expect to see Darth Vader or Force or lightsabers. That's not in this. That's not what we're doing. Oh, so it's not Star Wars. And I'm not saying I have to see a lightsaber or hear Darth Vader or personally, I'd like to get away from the fucking Skywalkers and Darth Vader. I feel like I love Darth Vader, my favorite Star Wars character. But I feel like anytime Lucasfilm is in trouble, they wave Darth Vader, and it's like, and I'm one of those fans. I'm guilty. Just like with the new show that came, the Tales of the Jedi, phenomenal show, phenomenal. That Tales of the Jedi, that 6 shorts that they gave us, phenomenal. Especially Dooku's arc, it was great. Tales of the Sith or Empire, shit, hated it. Keep it. I don't want it. And they sprung that on us. They sprung Tales of the Empire. We didn't really know about it. They sprung us. I was like, oh, I was super happy, super shocked, ready to see it. But then the last minute, when people weren't really getting excited for Tales of the Empire because they sprinkled Vader in there in that final trailer. They said, oh, look, here he is. He's here. And I was one of them. If you go back and you look at that live stream, I was fucking giddy, bro. I was jumping up and down. I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to see more Vader in his prime and Clone Wars style action. Vader sat in a chair the whole time and didn't say shit. And that's because Lucasfilm knows if we just show you Vader, we'll get the views. We'll be Vader, like, here he is, Vader. So I would like to get away from Vader. So even with all of that stuff in Andor, it doesn't feel like Star Wars, and that's just me. And I've said that about the Book of Boba Fett. I said that about Star Wars episodes 7 through 9. I've said that about all the other shit outside of the ones I've named that are good. It hasn't been a fun time. It's been a disaster. And I think that in order for Lucasfilm to get back where they need to be, they need to take a long, 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 long break. Take a break. The Acolyte just did piss poor, terrible numbers that you spent all this money on this show. Your next show coming out is the Goonies show. What's it called? Out. I don't remember what it's called. I guess I don't care. The kid with the show with the kids and Jude Law. I don't remember what it's called, but that show's coming out. A lot of people, no one's talking about that. No one's like, oh man, no one's theory crafting. Here's an example. I use this every time. Even though no one was checking for Agatha, no one was like, besides the people that were like trying to give Agatha a chance. There were a lot of people that were still dogging on Agatha. There were people saying, "Oh, Skeleton Crew, thank you, D Stizzle." There are people saying, "Oh, Agatha's it's a dead on arrival." This and that. You want to know something that people are doing with Agatha that no one was doing with Secret Invasion, or what was the show, MCU show even before Agatha, that no one was doing with those? Theory crafting online. X-Men 97 people were theory crafting. That was the first time I had seen it in a long time since I want to say No Way Home. People online excited to talk about Marvel. I'm not going to say everyone online excited to talk about Agatha, but There's theory crafting. There are people online in threads. There are threads, different threads, not one, multiple threads of different theories because people are having fun. It's fun to theory. It's fun to theorize about what's going or what could happen, what could potentially happen. No one was doing that with, or no one's doing that with Skeleton Crew. There are no threads on Twitter. I implore you to look one up, and if you do, please tag me. There's no one on Twitter online talking about Skeleton Crew, talking about what's going to happen in Skeleton Crew, how I can't wait for Skeleton Crew. No one. There is no one sitting talking about the next anticipated Star Wars project. No one. No one. Not even diehard Star Wars fans. And I said this too when everybody was saying how the Acolyte, we got the Acolyte canceled because we were being babies. No. Again, I've been a Star Wars fan for a very, 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 very long time. 02. Since 02. It's the first time I saw a Star Wars film. Then after that, my entire universe was broadened. I've been here for a while. We as Star Wars fans, when speaking to Lucasfilm, we don't get what we want. How many times of Star Wars fans have we yelled at Lucasfilm for this show or that show or this movie or that movie for Lucasfilm to say, fuck you, we're going to do something completely different and you're going to hate it and we're still going to make money off of it anyway because we're Star Wars. Rey movie. That's what we're talking about. The Taika Waititi and Rey movie. That's what we're here to talk about. That's why we even pulled up Star Wars. It's rumored to be on hold. Every time Daisy Ridley steps in front of a camera to talk about this Rey movie that no one asked for, again, Lucasfilm being tone deaf to their fans, she can't even tell you anything about it. And you could say, well, Darius, she's probably sworn to secrecy. No, there's nothing to tell. There's nothing to tell other than Daisy Ridley, Rey movie. That's the title. They have nothing. They have no working title. They have no scripts put together. Daisy said, I can tell you it's happening and I'm really excited for it. And I'm really excited to see where Rey is. Well, she's probably about one of the only ones, unless you are a Rey fan. And if you are, again, I'm not dogging you. I'm just simply saying not my Star Wars forte. If that's your version of Star Wars and you love the Rey movie and you love 7 through 9, then fun. I'm not checking for a Rey movie. I don't give a fuck what Rey's been doing. I don't care. I don't care what council she's raised. I don't care what skills she's gained. I don't care. I don't care. There was even that rumored movie that they were going to do where Helen Mirren was going to play Rey, but it was going to be mainly flashback. She was going to be older. And why? And see, that's what I mean by pissing. And again, that could just be rumor. Could just be a rumor to strike up division between fans. But let's just, for the sake of it, think that is something Kathleen Kennedy would do, because I believe it's something Kathleen Kennedy would do. Why would you want to piss off fans? Why are you trying to piss off your audience? Why are you trying to piss off the people that made this franchise what it is? It's crazy to me. It's crazy. So you hear that the Daisy Ridley movie is on hold. And then this is coming from comicbook.com. They said it's once again rumored that the Star Wars movie set to star Daisy Ridley and be directed by Sharman, I don't know who that is facing major trouble. This will be at least the fourth time it's been said that the flick might not happen. That's because it's not happening. It's probably one of those things that's been quietly just, it's not happening. We're not doing it. Like, no one wants it, so we're just not going to do it. The most recent rumor comes from Daniel RPK. The scooper says that the film needs more work and is now on hold. Daniel RPK also adds the movie is not expected to start filming until 2025. The Daisy Ridley movie canceled back in May. Back in May, saw the world of real reports that the new Star Wars Daisy Ridley movie was delayed and that CEO Bob Iger had put a pause on the project. Empire City Box Office on X said around the same time that the flick has been killed off by Bob Iger, who previously said Disney is pulling back on Star Wars. World of Rebel also said there were a lot of problems with the film, that the writer Stephen Knight was considering bailing on the project. Worth mentioning is that Stephen Knight recently appeared on the Royal Television Society London convention, and there was apparently no mention of Star Wars. We can also add that the WB has put Dune 3 up against the release date, though that are thought to be for the Daisy Ridley Star Wars movie for December 18th, 2026. According to the rumor and the writing on this, the writing is on the wall that Daisy Ridley and the director for the Star Wars movie isn't going to happen. Fans aren't surprised, as this happened many times under Kathleen Kennedy at Lucasfilm. And as you just heard there at the very end, fans aren't surprised because this happens all the time with Kathleen Kennedy over at Lucasfilm. Look at the Lando series, canceled. Even though Glover is saying that, oh no, it's, we're still writing it. Was that not official from Lucasfilm? I don't remember. I love Star Wars. I just don't pay attention unless it's like really, really happening and viable and something I care about. I want to say that might have been canceled officially by Lucasfilm, or if I don't know if that was something that was rumored by a scooper. I don't know, but that was talked about at 2019's D23. I ain't heard shit about Lando. Ain't heard shit about the land. But then again, why? In 2019, maybe I would have been like, you know what? Why the hell not? Let's see a Lando film. I don't give a why are we doing a Lando film? What are we doing? But see, this is Lucasfilm's problem. I can go on, and I'm not going to. I'm not going to go on a Star Wars rant. But this is Lucasfilm's problem. They cannot get away from that core group. Lando, Han, Leia, Luke, Anakin, Obi-Wan, Yoda, the clones. We can't, and I love all of that. The Clone Wars, bro. There's so much even more that we could expand on in the Clone Wars. Like there's more. Do I want to? No. We've been in the Clone Wars since 2008. I was in the 8th grade. I was in the 8th grade when the Clone Wars dropped. I was in the 2nd grade when the film Clone Wars dropped, and I watched it. We have been in the Clone Wars since 2002. Put that into perspective. For all you other franchise fans complaining about, oh, we can't get what we've been in the same war in Star Wars fandom since 2002. We can't get away from the fucking Clone Wars. We can't move on to anything else in a galaxy far, far away because Lucasfilm and everybody else is too fixated on the Skywalker saga. And until we get away from the sky, and you might say, well, Darius, they did that with the Acolyte. They did do that with the Acolyte. They shouldn't have done that with the Acolyte. The Acolyte was not the thing to introduce. And it could have been if it would have been done differently. If it had been done differently, it could have been. You botched the story. And it wasn't so much even the botching of the story. It was just the outright blatant canon breaking shit that you were doing that you didn't give a fuck about. And again, not talking about the Acolyte, so I don't really care. But trying to get away from the Skywalker saga, that's where Lucasfilm is failing. That is where they are failing each and every time. That's where they're going to continue to fail. So they got to get away from the Skywalker saga. Have to. And they have failed to do that. So I don't care about a Lando film. I saw somebody asking me, would you want to see a Mace Windu film? No. In another universe, in another time when I actually cared about what Lucasfilm was doing, sure, I would have been all ready for a Windu film. Would have been all ready to see what happened. What was Windu? I would say Windu. What was Windu up to when he got thrown out the window after Episode 3, getting his hand chopped off and everything like that? There's been so many different fan theories and things like that. There's fan films of if Windu survived and things like that. Do I want that? No, because I do not trust that project in the current hands of what is going on over at Lucasfilm. No, not at all. Grogu, we were introduced to in 2018, and he still hasn't said a word. He's still cooing and goo-gooing and gagaing. Still hasn't said a word. You have I forget the dude that played Luke, and you use the mask and stuff, the CGI. You have he looks just like Mark Hamill. You have a perfectly good actor right there that is willing to play Luke. And there's just so many different things that you could do. There's the thing that they're saying right now that there's a rumored Star Wars Pirates project. Why? And again, it could be cool. That could be a very cool concept because that's getting away from the Skywalker saga. It's doing other shit out in the galaxy. Star Wars pirate shit is actually really cool. One of my favorite characters introduced in the Clone Wars was Hondo Ohnaka. I love Hondo. At first I didn't, but I think Hondo is great. That pirate shit it's dope. It could be really cool. But do I trust a pirates show in the hands of? I don't. I can tell you right now. and this is the last thing I am saying. Well, before I say this too, because this was added into it, this is the last thing here. These two things. The Taika Waititi movie they're saying also is rumored to be on indefinitely held on hold over at Lucasfilm. And I had said a while back after he botched Love and Thunder. It's crazy, right? I love Ragnarok, hate Love and Thunder, both the same director. Where I was happy before seeing Love and Thunder about Taika Waititi helming a Star Wars film after seeing Love and Thunder and hearing some of the things he has said about Star Wars, saying that he's a troll. Taika is. He did some of the things he was saying during Love and Thunder, talking about he likes to make the fans mad and he likes to tick off fans and he wants to see how he can tick off Star Wars fans. That's not the right fandom to do that with. I'm gonna be honest, the Star Wars fandom is one of the worst. I'm not in that group. I'm a fan, but I'm not in that toxic group. One of the worst Star Wars fandoms, or fandoms, period. Ticking off the Star Wars fandom just for the hell of it, because you can botch a movie because you're the director and you can do that. That's why I didn't want Taika near anything Star Wars anymore. When he said that, oh yeah, I'll get to it. I'm writing a little bit here, writing a little bit there. I really don't even know what I'm doing in that universe. Keep Taika wherever the fuck he is too. I don't want him touching any Star Wars films. So I'm happy his is on hold indefinitely. Get it out. And like I said on Twitter, I would go ahead and shelve this one too. I'd go ahead and put this one right next to it and say that'll do, pig, because we're not moving forward. Do stuff that people want to see. That's what I would say. Do stuff that people want to see when it comes to Lucasfilm. So until Lucasfilm can figure out all of their shit, as far as like people giving a damn about Star Wars again, they're going to continue to fail. They're going to continue to fail, and I don't think that they understand. I don't think they understand. They have to take They need to take a very, very long break. Okay. So moving on from Lucasfilm, with Daisy Ridley. Well, let's see. Xavier said they're keeping Grogu a baby and milking that as long as they can. Oh yeah, that sells merchandise. But how much longer is Grogu going to sell? Zang Beto said, Darius, if you had creative control over Star Wars, what would you do? I would go as far away. First of all, starting in the unknown regions. I would keep my story, my main story, my main characters and everything from the known regions, from the known Star Wars galaxy. But farther off, like, maybe these, because with Coruscant being the capital, not everybody's visited the capital. Maybe these people haven't made it out to Coruscant. Coruscant ain't just like, even not everybody has the ability to light speed and things like that. So just far away from the capital, one. Distant planet, somewhere we haven't explored, still in the known regions, but the threat would be from the unknown regions. The threat itself would need to be the Yuuzhan Vong. And when I say yes, he's still far away from the capital. The Yuuzhan Vong. That's who I would make my threat. That in one, because you can use the Yuuzhan Vong and span that out over a trilogy if you want to, and have that be your trilogy villain. The Yuuzhan Vong are not, they're from the unknown regions. They are not a formidable, or they are a very, 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 very formidable race. The Force and things like that they are not as easily susceptible to as others. So you can't, that's the group that I would bring in and have be the threat to the galaxy. Yeah, I mean, there's other things you could do too. I mean, you could go Old Republic with it. That's something we've been begging for during the height of the Sith, when there were more than just two. So there's lots of things Lucasfilm could do, but for whatever reason, we are fixated on the Skywalker saga and just continuing to botch it and fuck it up. So, yeah. Let's see. D Sizzle said, I got Lando SNL cosplay, which Donald actually did, vibes in Solo. Yeah. Grace said they messed over Finn, and I was like, fuck it, I'm out. That's how who plays Finn? Shit, why am I blanking? That's how Boyega felt as well. Jabari said Donald Glover doesn't know he's on tour. Yeah, that's what I said. Like he was just recently talking about it, saying it's still going. I'm like, brother, I don't know that you and Lucasfilm are on the same page. D Stizzle said, I remember years ago the Game of Thrones. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Years ago. I remember that rumor when the Game of Thrones showrunners were going to helm a Knights of the Old Republic series or film or whatever it was going to be. But you know what happened? The same thing that happens every time a good show or something gets announced with a good director and writers. Kathleen Kennedy steps in. She bumps heads with whoever's running it. Then a few months later, you hear creative differences they've walked. And that's what's happened. That's exactly what happened. Zen said, had they done Finn justice, they might have had some interest, but Disney is going to Disney. Yep. Gray said, why is KK still there? Yep. D Stizzle said, don't trust them with Dawn of the Jedi era either. Me either. I forgot about that one. But yep, I don't trust them either. Yeah. So, yeah. Like D Stizzle said, unknown regions, wild space, etc. Chill said, Grogu is Maggie Simpson, 50 years old with no speaking. Brother Stark said, Grogu's real name is Yoda Jr. He will take the place of Yoda in the next Star Wars movie. Yeah, you know, that all of that, I'm just losing my interest with Grogu. I don't care about the child as I once did. The child is not you want to know where I would get happy with Grogu? If they did this. Can we see, even though this is Yoda, could we see Grogu in this capacity growing up? Can we like jump some years or something? I don't know how his race ages. We don't know shit about the Yoda's race. So obviously they age slow. Can we jump some years then and Grogu is upright, walking, talking, wielding a lightsaber, being, you know, doing shit that's not just cooing. So that's where I'm just kind of sick of it, honestly. I don't know how much more I can, like, even in the Mando Grogu movie, he's not, unless they surprise us, he's not going to talk. He's just going to, you know, and reach for that little ball thing that Mando gives him. And, but I will say this about that. What they did show at D23 for the Mando and Grogu film, T'Challa, if you do it again, I'm going to make you get out. Sit down. What was I even saying? The Mando and Grogu deal that they showed at D23 was dope. I thought that looked cool. I dare you to. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Once. Okay, T'Challa is being recasted over here for real. If you want him, we are recasting T'Challa for real on this end. I love my dog. I do. I do. I do. I do. I do. I do. First of all, let me just start off by saying he is inappropriately named. He should not be named T'Challa. He is not. There's nothing kingly about my T'Challa. There's nothing protective about my T'Challa. I have two dogs. For those unaware, my pit. Well, he's T'Challa's pit mixed. My full pit is the protective one. My full pit is the one that will protect the house, protect me, do all that shit and blah blah blah. T'Challa, on the other hand, is inappropriately named. He is nothing like the attributes that you would think when you hear the name T'Challa. Not only that, he is very. He is 6 years old now. T'Challa is 6. He is no longer a puppy, but he still does puppy shit. As far as not listening, as you just saw, he can't just ever be. He has a crate that he does not spend a lot of his time in because I don't like locking my pets up like that. In jail, I feel like that's jail. I mean, you're in that little crate. I can't do that long. He's in there now, but he normally doesn't spend time in there. But here's the thing with T'Challa: he can open doors. He will put his mouth around the knob if I close a door, and he will open it and eventually come out. He's very famous for opening my garage door, letting the cats all out in the garage. Sometimes if the physical garage door is actually open, he'll open the door. The cats will be all out in the neighborhood and shit. And I've told him several times, stop opening the fucking door. You're letting the cats out, all this shit. He just can't. But that's just one. I'm moving in November. My uncle has had to come over here and fix things, holes in the walls and scratches, things that T'Challa has done, chewed holes in the walls. What did he most recently do? Chewed off the trim around my bathroom door because I put him in the bathroom for literally, I think he was in there like 10 minutes, maybe. I was doing something. So if I love him, I'm joking when I say this, but recast T'Challa. But no, I really do love my dog. But Jesus, that is my pets is that's as far as I'll go as kids. I think you guys have heard me say that before. I don't want kids. No, I don't want kids. I did at one point. At one point, I really did want kids. And people used to tell me, oh, it's going to change. You're going to want them again. Hasn't changed. I look at my pets as kids. That's as kitty as it's going to get. All right. Yeah, it sounds like Killmonger. He should have been Killmonger. That's what his name should have been, Killmonger, because he is no T'Challa. All right. So anyway, we'll move on from Star Wars. Star Wars is not gonna recover. Brother Stark said, I got 2 daughters and I have to hide in the bathroom to watch this. Let's see. Okay, we'll move to what was next? Oh, the Marvel stuff. Okay. So the last thing is the Marvel stuff coupled with Beau. So it's been talked about for a while, and I said this on Twitter. At this point, scoops are becoming recycled, in my opinion. I'm seeing a lot of scoops that are recycled. I'm seeing a lot of the same shit from people. From Daniel RPK, I feel like when it's a slow news day and it's like, oh, I need to get some clicks up or something, let me just find a tweet and recycle that and say that as the scoop of the day. And people just eat that shit up too, as if that's new news. And maybe not everybody's not on Twitter and in these spaces as much as I am, so I see a lot of this stuff all the time. But this whole thing about Spider-Man, Tom Holland's Spider-Man, going to be one of the main focals of Avengers 4 and 5, going to be one of the leading members of the Avengers. This is not new news at all. At all. I want to say this goes back. Some of this news goes back to before, if you were here, I want to say almost a little over a year ago, before I had redone the studio the first time. A little over a year ago, because I was sitting on that side of the studio at that time. I remember that. So this is not new news. This is recycled news. And I don't know how I feel about it with more light being shed on, with more details coming out about what this could be. And again, none of this is official from Marvel Studios, as always. Take it with a grain of salt. This is coming from different scoopers. First one coming from Daniel RPK that said Tom Holland's Spider-Man is reportedly one of the main characters in Avengers Doomsday. Spider-Man 4 will reportedly feature a street-level story with some multiversal elements. I'm sorry, this is Alex over the Cosmic Circus. He goes on to say Doctor Strange's spell for Peter will reportedly be broken, and it will also explore the future. Or I'm sorry, they will also explore further in the MCU, and it will also be explored further in the MCU as far as the spell being broken. That's coming from Alex over the Cosmic Circus. My Time to Shine Hello and Exiled Scooper had tweeted some similar tweets out. Exiled Scooper's tweeted out first. My Time to Shine Hello might have grifted it. Who knows? She said, look, I know a lot of people here want him. I'm talking about. Okay, so let me backtrack before I get to that. The whole rumor and speculation here is that Reed Richards, and this was one of my problems going forward, because if you guys remember, I believe, and this could be a rumor, grain of salt, nothing official from Marvel. I believe, and I said this in that video talking about RDJ as Doom. I don't believe the Fantastic Four in their universe are privy to who a Victor Von Doom is. I don't think Victor is from their universe. And I could be completely wrong on that. I just remember that being some of the rumors out there. And again, grain of salt. I don't remember if that's, a real thing. I do know he's supposed to be in the post-credit scene. One of the post-credit scenes as Doom. He's supposed to show up in other post-credit scenes, other places too, in other movies before Avengers 5. But one of the problems that I had and issues with that, even with RDJ, I think that, as I've said before, I think it's lazy, all that kind of stuff. But the thing with RDJ being Dr. Doom, what they're trying to do right now is not tie Dr. Doom to Reed Richards. Yes, Reed Richards will know who Dr. Doom is. Yes, Reed Richards will have some type of rival with Dr. Doom. But Dr. Doom's ultimate rival, grain of salt, is going to be Spider-Man, Tom Holland's Spider-Man, because this is going to be not Tony Stark. It's going to be Victor Von Doom, but it's going to look like RDJ, and I guess they're going to spin that in some type of way to where it's going to be where Tom Holland is going to be the ultimate nemesis. Tom Holland's Spider-Man, is going to be ultimate nemesis of Victor Von Doom, not Reed Richards. This is what My Time to Shine Hello had to say. They said, look, I know a lot of people here want him to be Reed Richards' nemesis, and I'm sure they will still be rivals, but we've seen enough of their relationship already in the other three Fantastic Four films. And this is where, first of all, I can't stand My Time to Shine Hello. I'm only reading this because this is something that a lot of the other scoopers were retweeting from My Time to Shine Hello. No, normally I won't anymore. I can't stand My Time. But that what they whatever they just said in this right there, saying we've already seen that in 3 films. Okay, I don't give a shit that we've already seen it in 3 films. The point is, we've not seen the Fantastic Four done accurately live action. The Jessica Alba, Chris Evans ones, they're fine. If you want to go back and rewatch them, they're on Disney Plus. I have recently. They're fun. It's cringy at moments, but hey, you leave feeling like you had a good time. Were the Fantastic Four done properly in that film? No. Were the Fantastic Four done properly in the Miles Teller film with you know who I'm talking about. I don't know why I'm blanking on his name either. Was it done accurately? No. That was actually the worst one. There has not been a Fantastic Four film done accurately, and we have not seen an accurate Doctor Doom on screen. So I don't give a shit how many times Doctor Doom has faced the Fantastic Four. Do it right, and let's see it again. I want to see Reed be his nemesis. This is supposed to be Secret Wars, right, that we're leading to? And I told you guys before, even when it was talking about the T'Challa stuff being in it, and I do still believe T'Challa's going to be in it. I still do believe T'Challa's going to be in Secret Wars and possibly even Avengers 5, because recasting him and other characters are important for the story. But then again, it leads you to the whole part of Marvel's going to do their own version of Secret Wars. I mean, of course, it was never going to be panel for panel, and I wasn't expecting that. But at the same time, I don't want to see Spider-Man be the nemesis, like the ultimate nemesis to Doom. She goes on to say, and from a storytelling perspective, once they cast RDJ as Doom, it has to be Peter in caps locks. It has to be Peter. Who has the strongest emotional connection to him because he looks like his dead mentor? But see, again, that's the issue. When you have them coming on, like RDJ did the interview where he said that he's not playing a variant of Tony Stark, he is playing Victor Von Doom. How, Sway? How? You look exactly like Tony Stark. And I know that's what she's saying. That's what she's saying. That's what she's playing on. I don't like, but why? If it's a Victor Von Doom that we've never seen, why does he look like Tony Stark? And why? And with him looking like Tony Stark, now Peter's gonna have some fucking emotional breakdown because, oh, you look like my dead mentor that I miss, and you're evil, and I've got to do this for Tony, and this is a no. And if that's the storytelling that we're coming up with Marcus and McFeely being back as the writers, I have a hard time believing that that's the writing elements and stories that we're coming up with. And with Secret Wars being something that the Russo brothers have had on their minds since, I don't know, forever. I feel like that's not the storytelling. And if it is, I could be wrong. But that's not something I personally want to see. She goes on to say more. Tony had a deeper emotional tie and more meaningful interactions with Peter than any other living Avenger except Rhodey and Pepper. But they are likely to have smaller roles than Peter in the Avengers films. So from a narrative standpoint, it would be a failure not to put these two at a forefront facing off against each other. Wrong. Sorry. And if I'm wrong, you think that would work? Okay. I don't say don't have Spider-Man there. Obviously have him there. Spider-Man plays an important part in Secret Wars too. But to have him be the guy that is going up the forefront against Doom, to me, you've already botched your Doom. I said that in the video too. You clipped Doom before you could even introduce Doom. You clipped him by making him RDJ. You clipped him by not putting all of the effort into your first real appearance of Doctor Doom in live action. You've had him in those other films, but this is in the MCU now, where you have the playground, you have the means to do all these things. You'd have casted anybody else. Anyway, talked about that already. You've talked about all the stuff with casting somebody else and as Doom and whatever. But I don't like this as the story that they're trying to tell here, if that's what they're trying to do. There's other reports. Tom Holland, Spider-Man will reportedly have a large role, as we all know, in upcoming Avengers Doomsday, much larger than it was in Infinity War and Endgame. And Marvel will begin production on both Doomsday, Spider-Man 4 in early 2025. Remember, I told you guys that about the whole Benedict Cumberbatch did the interview where he said that he's ready to start filming. He did an interview earlier this year, said he can't wait to start filming Avengers 5 in the summer of 2025. So that's coming. They are going to start filming that fairly soon. I feel like they're going to start keeping that, trying to keep on task with some of that. So that's the thing with Spider-Man as far as some of that news goes there. Now, the last thing here that we're going to get into is Beau Demayo. Now, everybody has been paying attention to Beau Demayo as far as, since he got fired from his position as a showrunner of X-Men 97 or any position at Marvel day before X-Men 97 dropped on Disney Plus, where he, after that, disappeared from social media until episode 4 or 5 or whichever episode we lost Gambit in. He showed back up and to answer questions online to a lot of different people on Twitter, and ever since then he has been very active on Twitter. There were a lot of people wondering, why did you get fired? What was the speculation? People were speculating why he got fired. If you go back and watch some of our videos, I still say to this day, and I will still say that X-Men 97 is one of the best things that Marvel has done since Endgame. It is phenomenally well done. And that is a lot to do with Beau Demayo, a lot to do with his how he wanted the writers' rooms to be. Things are things that we've said before, not wanting people in there that weren't privy to the original X-Men 97 90 show. If you weren't an X-Men comic fan and you didn't know anything about it, you could not come into the writers' room. So we all know why, how he crafted his rooms and things like that. then there got to be some turmoil on YouTube between him and some of the people. Obviously, I was one of the, I think, and I could be wrong, and I'm not just saying this to, to toot a horn or anything like that. I think I and Q on this channel were one of the first ones to put up a video or have the discussion online, at least in front of others, about the melanin issue in X-Men 97 with Sunspot and the things going on with not having his father involved in the storyline. Now they changed certain things, and how we all, speculated. I don't want to say we all. I had the speculation that Beau was projecting a lot of his own personal life onto Sunspot and all this kind of stuff. Then there was him getting called out on Twitter by others, saying that, which I had said too in our video, or the video we put out, that we got rocks and shit thrown at us, because I had said that, why is Bishop missing? Why is Storm constantly giving advice and going on these side stories where we're not seeing her be the goddess that she is, and the Omega level mutant and things like that? Why is Storm missing out on all this shit? Sunspot stuff, all the stuff. He got called out for that, saying that Storm got relegated to a mammy, a cheerleader, cheering on all her white X-Men peers. The speech she gave to Jean before they jumped out the plane to go face Bastion for the last time, and all Storm even did then was fall into the water, into where after the next time we saw her in the next episode, she was hemmed up by Sentinels with Forge. And once again, she was clapping for Jean for turning into the Phoenix again and trying to relate with Bastion on a human level. Now, is that Storm in some capacity? Yes, it is. But is Storm not an Omega level mutant where we've seen her just stop everything? Yes, she is also that. There's a very first episode where we saw her do that one thing, and that was tell them the forecast, or whatever Scott said. Bring the forecast. Dope what she did to the Sentinels, but we didn't see much more from Storm. She fought her inner demons and everything like that. And if that was enough for you and you really loved that story, and I know some people were like, oh, you're not understanding it, you're just wanting to complain. It's a deeper, complex story than that. Storm's going on a journey to discover herself. Why are the niggas always discovering themselves? Why? All the nigga characters are constantly having to discover ourselves. We're gotta go find out who I really am. Gotta go shed this bondage and become this story or this person by the last episode, and then have to wait. And I want to say that too. People were telling me, stop complaining. It's the first or second episode. You got 8 left. You're right, I do. By the 5th episode, stop complaining. You got 5 left. Okay, she's you're right. She'll probably do something coming up in the next episode. By the 2 episodes left, stop complaining. They're doing 2 seasons. So we went from stop complaining, there's 8 episodes left, stop complaining, there's 5 episodes left, to stop complaining, they're doing 2 seasons. So again, why are the nigga characters always on a journey? They never, there's never, Storm got the one, and Beau talked about this. I was going to go through and kind of find those old tweets that he was saying, where he was talking about, it's not always about that. For me, it was about Storm rediscovering herself and being a strong black, and that there's more to being a strong black woman, or whatever he was saying. I don't want to misquote him. Whatever he was saying, it was a bunch of bullshit, and a lot of people were not on board with that. Again, calling Storm a mammy, calling her a cheerleader, saying that she didn't do anything the whole season, and she didn't. Marcus, and I love this that he said. Marcus in our Pantheon stream said that, well, all Bishop is just a time traveling Uber, and that is all Bishop is. And I know we're going to see more of Bishop in season 2. Yeah, we are. I get that. I saw the last episode like everybody else. Going up to Ford saying it's not the first time the X-Men have died, and we've dealt with this time travel. Yeehaw! I get it. He was still not in that first season. A character that you advertised like hell, the toys, the pictures, the posters, all that stuff with the advertisement. We were thinking Bishop was going to be there. Not there. Bishop not there. Bishop's gone. Time traveling Uber. And then, of course, the Sunspot shit. So you got all that and all the other black characters that could have been introduced that I've gone on and on and on about, that could have been there, that were not there, or whatever. And I'm glad they weren't there, because they would have just been on the self-discovery ass journey as well. And that's just not something I was here for. So Beau caught heat for that as well. And then Beau also, kind of just moving along here, had some more things to say with the episode that had all the Avengers cameos in it, with the episode that had the T'Chaka cameo in it that we all thought when we first saw it was T'Challa. To where Beau at the time, 4 months ago, this was 4 months ago, Beau said, I can't speak to that decision. This was something he had said on Twitter. And I was also looking for that tweet too. I thought I retweeted that, but I guess I did, but I can't find it. Maybe he deleted it. I don't know. But he said, I can't speak to that. So 4 months ago, Beau was saying he couldn't speak to the decision that was made of T'Challa being removed from X-Men 97. And a lot of people online were saying, oh, here comes the recast crowd once again, making this a bigger deal and making this deeper and being so disrespectful. And how funny is it that almost every single motherfucking time we talk about T'Challa and these anti-recasters come in here with these bogus recycled, stale-ass, unseasoned takes on T'Challa, we are being proven right. It may not be right in that moment, but further on down the line, we are being proven right. And let me give you some examples. In 2020, when we recast T'Challa, we were being called disrespectful from 2020 all the way up until, as I've said, I think it shifted with 97 till 97. Then the wake up started. It started to wake up a little bit before that, but the wake up really started online when 97 happened because people were waking up saying, hey, I was on board with you not recasting him in live action because out of respect for Chadwick Boseman. I didn't understand that personally. I'm talking for me, but there were people that did understand that. And if you understood that, hoorah. I didn't. There were people that did. But they were saying, hey, okay, so why are you not, why can't he be in animation? That doesn't make sense. And then you had Justin, whoever, the guy that did the interview with Phase Zero. He's one of the directors over there for X-Men 97 as well. He did that interview with Phase Zero where he was rambling on and doing all that talking about how X-Men 97 or how the continuity could be different and in this universe or the timelines are different. In this universe, T'Challa would still technically be a kid, and that he didn't know what the fuck he was talking about then, and just rehashing it honestly is exhausting because it just sounds crazy. In no universe would T'Chaka be pierced with Jubilee, Sunspot, or any of those type of people. Spider-Man, Peter Parker. He's not. Those are T'Challa's peers. You tried to make a fool out of us on Twitter and make it seem like, oh, y'all are stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. Continuity. Again, when we're speaking continuity, Brad Winterbaum, however you say it, Winterbaum, that's it, not Winter, Brad Winterbaum, one of the executive producers over there on the animation side of things, he broke down all that. He broke it down and said that X-Men 97 falls directly in line with continuity of all the animated shows. And Larry Houston, who created, Larry Houston, who who introduced the animated version of T'Challa into the X-Men 97 show, had to do it secretly. Again, if you know that story, you know it, but had to do it secretly because they didn't want a nigga in the show like that. They're not trying to give T'Challa that shine. They're scared of him. Another topic, another time, not getting into that. But if it wasn't for Larry Houston doing that, putting him in there, we wouldn't have had T'Challa in X-Men 97. Larry Houston posted on his Twitter that is, because there were people saying, well, that's T'Chaka. Larry Houston, who did that episode, said it's T'Challa. He also said that it's T'Challa in any other iteration you saw in the animation from the 90s version. So even when presented with facts, there were anti-recasters that were like, no, you guys are just still whining, blah, blah, blah. Let's move on. Beau said that he couldn't speak to that then. Well, he's speaking now. And now that he's speaking and saying what he's saying about T'Challa and blah, 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 let's get to that really quick. And this is a bunch of bullshit too. I will say that before I click on this. It's a bunch of bullshit coming from Beau. Brother is. Let's get to this really quick first. Hold on. What did he say? All right. X-Men 97 Season 1 showrunner Beau Demayo sets the record straight on T'Challa not being Black Panther. X-Men 97 finale featured some huge Marvel Universe cameos, including Black Panther. However, we later discovered that T'Chaka was beneath the mask, not T'Challa. The decision has perplexed viewers, particularly when T'Challa's father is typically portrayed as a former Black Panther who fought alongside Captain America in World War II. Taking me back to what I said about he wouldn't be fucking peers Peter Parker, Jubilee, or any of those other people. Moving on. Which in this timeline could admittedly still be the case. It's not. It's not. The fact that that even had to be put in parentheses, we could have Control Alt deleted that. That should not have been in there. It's not. Brad Winderbaum, who is the executive producer. You are arguing with Marvel at this point. I said this back 4 months ago. You're arguing with Marvel at this point. He has said it falls directly into the continuity. So there is no universe, there is no space, there is no timeline in which this admittedly could still be the case. It's not. It's not. You could have kept that out. It's not. T'Challa being sidelined spawned many discussions online, with most convinced the decision must be related to Chadwick Boseman's death. Of course it is. The gatekeeping when it comes to T'Challa has everything to do with Chadwick Boseman's death. Everything to do with that. Let's continue. Most of it has to do with that, but there are other layers to why we haven't seen T'Challa that don't involve Chadwick Boseman. So don't, if you're one of those people that's thinking, oh, it's just out of, there are many layers to the reason as to why T'Challa has not been on screen outside of Chadwick Boseman. All right. I've said many times, I'm going to continue to say this anytime I talk about this. There are many layers to recasting T'Challa, the conversation. There is the layer that is just the surface level of recasting T'Challa. But then there is the basic, then it goes deeper than that. It goes into deeper layers. Because I've seen people saying, stop making it about racism. That is one of the layers when it comes to recasting T'Challa. Let me say this too, before I continue on with what they were saying. I haven't talked to you guys in a spell. I'm sorry. It's been a while since we talked T'Challa. I tweeted a picture of T'Challa. I tweeted a picture of Tony Stark and Bruce Wayne. In comic book lore, history, whatever, in that universe, that world, comic book world, T'Challa is the richest, not just in comic book world. They threw Scrooge McDuck from fucking Mickey Mouse's universe in there. He is the richest character of all time, period. Point blank, period. I posted that on Twitter and I said, this, just as a reminder, scares the fuck out of them. And a lot of people came in, and I don't know who We Are Comics or whatever the fuck their tag that they were putting at the end of their tweets. I don't know who they were, but they came in with a few other people saying, oh, I know you're not trying to make this about race, or I know you're not trying to, but that is what it's about. The simple fact, and even though he is that in comics and in whatever, in the comic world, he's the richest character, that scares them. The fact that that you can pick, the fact that you can pick up a book, okay, and if you disagree with me, you're in the wrong stream. I've been doing this now 2 years. This has been one of our main topics on this channel for 2 years. And as I've said, until Marvel recast T'Challa physically in the MCU 616 or whatever the fuck new universe it's going to be rebooted to, until he is recasted, this will remain a topic. And if you don't like these topics, if you think that the recast T'Challa crowd is exhausting, or you think we're reaching, or you think that you were on board with us until we did what we did on Chadwick's birthday and spread the hashtag, and that was just too far for you, it was just too disrespectful, then you're in the wrong motherfucking stream. You're in the wrong place, because every single time I'm going to be passionate and talk about T'Challa. Why am I so passionate in talking about T'Challa? Because this is the only time and the first time in comic book history. I don't know why this is so hard to wrap your brains around, some of you out there, because you don't understand this. And the reason you don't understand, actually, let me rephrase that. Let me backtrack. I know why you don't understand it, because you exist outside of this topic. The reason you exist outside of this topic is, I've said this, I'm just rehashing, is because you are represented. You're represented. If I go outside right now and I go look at billboards or whatever, I turn on the TV, I look at a commercial, I look at or anything like that. Yes, there are going to be people of color. Yes, there are going to be black commercials. Yes, there's going to be black folks on billboards, but more often than not, you are going to see the blonde hair, blue-eyed, white individual on screen or on whatever it is you're viewing in media, or whatever it is you might be viewing, whether it be in media, publishing, whatever. It's always going to be that first. So when you get a character like T'Challa, I don't know if there are new people in here. I don't know if this is news to you, or you've been confused on why for almost 4 years, since 2020, this hashtag is still having trending sometimes online. Why? Let me break it down. Because there are a group of individuals like myself, and this is not a small group. I know that people on Twitter like to make you think that, oh, the recast T'Challa crowd is so small but so loud. No, we're loud, and we're loud and very, very large as well. This is a large group. So with us being this very large group that we are, and there are new people joining this movement, and it is a movement, even though they like to say they put movement in quotation marks when they talk about it on Twitter. It is a movement. It may not be a movement that you back, but it is a movement. And anytime we talk about this movement, we are discussing this movement, and we are wanting the people in this movement. We are wanting this because we don't have characters that look like us. And some of you might be saying, "Oh, here we go. I'm exhausted with this conversation." You do have characters that look like you. You guys just don't want to support them. I've even seen that tired argument from some people from within the community. Some brothers and sisters from within the community talking about, okay, all this talk about T'Challa, we need to stop. We need to be focusing on the black characters that are about to hit theaters, and that's Sam Wilson. Let me stop you in your tracks before you come online trying to be so fucking hot and try to have a hot take and have a tweet go viral. Let me stop you really quick. Sam Wilson could only fly because T'Challa walked. Let me say that again. Sam Wilson could only fly because T'Challa walked. All these black heroes you're naming, don't get me wrong, I would love to see a Blue Marvel. I would love to see Icon in DC and some of these other black heroes show up. But the only reason within Marvel, I don't know about DC, but within Marvel, no, T'Challa was the trailblazer for it all. The only reason you're seeing black characters, or you're even able to name some of these black characters that you want to see more of, talking about let T'Challa go, is because of T'Challa. So for you to come online so hot talking about we need to show support to Sam, first support T'Challa, the character that made it possible for Sam to even have a film for you to go see in February. Because without T'Challa's 1.3 billion, without T'Challa being introduced and being in such high demand in 1966 after being introduced in that Fantastic Four issue, you would not have a Sam Wilson film to try to back, to try to put all your eggs in a basket with Anthony Mackie. You wouldn't have that. So in order for me to go and support Sam Wilson as as Captain America, which I'm just like, okay, I need to see your effort put in with T'Challa, the black character. There are black characters, but then there is the black character. And again, if that is somehow missing you, if you are somehow still not understanding that, if you are still somehow trying to do mental gymnastics to try to make it make sense for you, then either, I've said this before, you either are willfully being ignorant or you truly, truly don't get it and you are in a bubble. Because this character means so much more. Again, this is layers to this. This character means so much more than just putting him simply back in the MCU. Yes, we want to see him back in the MCU, but it's so much more than that. Understand that? It is so much more than just wanting to see him in the MCU. So it stretches beyond that. So again, you had Beau 4 months ago saying what he said. He couldn't speak to that decision. You had what's his name talking about how it admittedly could be a different timeline and this and this and that. They go on to say in this article, of course, it also created some continuity issues because T'Challa's Black Panther in the short-lived Fantastic Four animated series, which is presumably part of the same universe as this revival, X-97 season 1, showrunner Beau Demayo was asked about the change when the finale aired, and he responded NDA. Now, though, he's finally cleared things up since that is all over. He has now said, I don't know why Marvel had certain directors trying to spin and lie about this. Remember, before I continue, we all said when the other director, Justin, whatever his name was, got up there and was talking about trying to, stumbling over his words, trying to make that shit make sense with Phase Zero, and Phase Zero sitting there talking about, oh yeah. I hate the fake shit. If that's why I can never, if I was to ever get big like that and I'm able to interview people, and you might just be saying, oh, Darius, you're just saying that. I know you guys know me on an online presence only. You don't know me outside of that. When I say shit like that, that's not like me just speaking. What I say, I mean. If I did an interview with Feige or Nate Moore, or I did an interview with Justin or Beau or anything like that, when there's bullshit being sensed, I'm going to sniff out and I'm going to also not just sniff out, I'm going to point out that bullshit. I'm going to be like, Like, here's another example. The racist shit going on with Andrew Schultz right now. I don't know how involved everybody is online. Do you only pay attention to Marvel shit, or are you paying attention to other shit too? I pay attention to it all. The shit going on with Andrew Schultz right now and all the racist shit with him. The black British podcasters that have the TikTok or whatever they always do. They were on his show. I don't know their names. I'm not into their shit. I'm not into Andrew Schultz shit either. They were on his show. Andrew Schultz was making racist ass jokes, talking about black women being angry and this and that. Come to find out, again, side topic, not really what we're on talking about here. Come to find out, he used to date a black woman. Maybe that's why he's so bitter, because she left his ass, and now I think he groups all black people and black women into that category. But neither here nor there. Another topic. He was being racist, and in that racism, the guys in question from the other podcast, the British black guys, they were laughing, and we've talked about this before. People will sometimes laugh out of discomfort. I've done it. I've laughed out of discomfort before. I have said, like talking about Will Smith, how people were like, well, he laughed first. He's probably uncomfortable at first. Yes, people laughed out of discomfort. So they were laughing out of the discomfort. They later on got on their show, and there was a half-ass apology. Again, another topic, but apologized on their show and things like that, and blah, blah, blah. Well, not Beau Demayo, everybody's been saying that Andrew Schultz is, hold on, I'm sorry. Let me read that part one more time. Okay, yeah. So Andrew Schultz was saying the racist things that he was saying, and then people were saying, well, why didn't those guys like give a side eye or give some type of something indicating that this, yeah, okay, you might be joking, but this ain't okay, something. And again, laughing at discomfort is real, whatever. But even in what I'm saying with all that is to say this, even with that, nobody in the room thought, or, thought to say or to interject or to speak up, and maybe they did. It's ultimately Marvel's decision. But if I'm interviewing Justin or Beau or anybody like that, I'm gonna call out that bullshit the same exact way those dudes in the Andrew Schultz video should have. Raise an eyebrow to the bullshit. Raise an eyebrow to shit that doesn't make sense. Give a side eye to the shit, that tilt the head to the shit that don't make sense. Something like that. Because for him to sit there or for them to sit there, Justin to sit on that phase zero interview and come up with everything that he was saying, the lies that we all called lies then. I don't know if that was Marvel that told him, yeah, just get on there and make some shit up. And if so, I'm mad at Marvel. You sent me out there to the wolves with nothing substantial to actually give them. You made me jumble over my words as if I'm in the crosshairs with the recast crowd. Now they're looking at me crazy. We're looking at you crazy because you willingly got on there and said some ignorant ass shit that did not make sense 4 months ago. It doesn't make sense now trying to rehash it all. And Beau, I guess, saying it didn't make sense, but Beau's not out of the clear. He's not out of the clear. I'm getting to it. Then he goes on to say, because he said this all on Twitter, the loss of Bozeman weighed heavily on the studio, as well as me as a black man. Let me pause. I know, I'm sorry, I keep pausing and not reading. This is the thing that I've said this about Kamala, even though I'm, again, not political. I'm not gonna get into that. I've said this about Kamala. I've said this about others, a lot of others, but most recent I've said it about Kamala. Using your blackness when it's convenient, using your blackness when as a weapon, like my thing is, motherfucker, I wake up black, I go to bed black. I 24/7 I am black. I don't get to pick and choose when my blackness shows and when it doesn't. I don't get to take off nor would I ever want to. I don't get to take off I don't get to shed my blackness as if it's some suit I put on day in and day out. I am black all the time, 24/7, every motherfucking day of the week, 365. I don't get to pick and choose. At work, for those of you that don't know, I work for the state. I have to code switch when I'm on the phone. Oh, yeah. Hi, this is Darius with the Oklahoma DHS Live. How can I assist you? Yeah, you got to code switch that shit. I can do that, but what I'm not going to do is sit here and pick and choose when I want to weaponize my blackness. I'm black all of the time. And I'm saying all that to say, Beau Demayo picks and chooses when he wants to be black. Hold on. Sorry. Beau Demayo picks and chooses when he wants to be black. And I've seen it. We've seen it online with other stuff too. When he was so as a black man. So since this, let's rehash this really quick before we move into the last final part. Let's just read the last final part. He said, "Felt too soon to do T'Challa, put humanity before continuity." Cool. I'll come back to that in just a second. When he says that as a black man, so as a black man. All that shit you were talking about, how Storm had to go through this and she had to go through that. As a black man, you didn't sit and think to yourself, let me give Storm some more shine. As a black man, well, he didn't see it as cheerleading. As a black man, you didn't think to yourself, Storm is being relegated to a cheerleader. I'm nixing Sunspot's original story with his father and all this and this and that. I'm not doing any of that shit. His father wasn't even in the picture. We didn't even see his father. More stereotypes. As a black man, that shit wasn't bothering you. As a black man, the lack of representation on screen didn't bother you. So since as a black man, you felt it was too soon to put T'Challa on screen, why not fill the fucking void, black man? Why not fill that void with other black characters? Since you felt it was too soon to do T'Challa, which I'm going to get to that in just a second, why did you not fill that too soon fucking void with some other black characters? Why? Because, as I just said, Beau Demayo picks and chooses when he wants to be black. He's not going to be black all of the time. He is in an industry where he's going to pick and choose because he's got to pay his bills. So he's going to pick and choose when he wants to be black. And this is one of those times where, as a black man, he felt it was just too soon. And it weighed heavily on him. Now, granted, me and him have had this conversation on Twitter. His cat's name is Chadwick. His cat is named after Chadwick Boseman. So maybe he really does have some type of real feelings for Chadwick Boseman in his heart. I can't speak to how he was affected by Chadwick Boseman's death. I can't speak on that. I don't know. Nor would I ever speak on that, how he was affected. But what I'm saying is, he said, lastly, put humanity before continuity. X-Men 97 came out in 2023. Chadwick Boseman passed in 2020. As I said the last time we talked about this on the Pantheon stream, stop with the fake fucking outrage as if you guys are still feeling some type of grieving for Chadwick Boseman. I always say I'm not going to speak on people's grief, but I'm calling bullshit on that one. None of you outside of those who were really close to Chadwick Boseman or his family, his widow, are mourning his death still. I said this too. None of you are going your day to day thinking about Chadwick Boseman. And if you are, what are you doing to help his legacy? Are you promoting the Chadwick Boseman Foundation? Are you donating to that? Are you pulling in donors? Are you doing a list every day trying to get people to sign up and go donate? What are you personally doing for Chadwick Boseman to have this connection that you have? Because you don't. It's not real. It's fake. The only reason any of them, I can't speak on though, the only reason most of these anti-recasters have this connection to Chadwick Boseman or have a fake connection to Chadwick Boseman is when we tweet recast T'Challa. That's when you see them coming on talking about Chad this, Chad that, disrespectful. Oh, I loved Chadwick Boseman. Name 3 other fucking things Chadwick Boseman did out of you seeing him in 2016 as T'Challa. I'll wait. None of them can. And the only ones they maybe can give you is just because that's well known. It's well known because he played his ass off on that role. It's 42. Oh, he played Jackie Robinson. They can give you that. But he's done a plethora of other things on his acting belt and his acting resume than just being T'Challa. But the only reason that they get so up in arms about it is because it's fake outrage. Like I said, we need something to be mad about. It's the internet. It's Twitter. I can't meet you. You're never going to meet me in person. The only thing I'm going to be able to have with you is Twitter fingers. And the only thing I'm ever going to do is be able to troll you. A lot of people, it's fake outrage. People get on Twitter, as I've said before, most of these arguments from recasters are recycled. It's something that they've heard someone else say. They didn't think this on their own, okay? This is something something they heard someone else say, that they heard someone else say, that they themselves heard someone else say, that has turned into a bad game of telephone. So that when they try to recycle that argument, they sound ignorant because you start hitting them with facts. They don't know anything about that. They start talking about, well, no, I'm just talking about you being disrespectful. Oh, well, I'm not talking about on a racist level. Oh, well, why are you talking about race? Well, you do know the actor died. Well, you do know that his son is none of that. All they can give you is MCU fact. All they can give you is real life fact. Chadwick Boseman passed. Check. We know. His son is taken over in the MCU as the new Black Panther. Hopefully not, but check. We know. And all the other stuff that they're trying to check off. Yes, check. We know. We know all these things. But where we're coming from it as where they cannot relate. Most of them cannot relate is from a comic book standpoint, and not just the comic book standpoint, but the representation standpoint. It's representation, regardless of how you look at it. It fucking matters. It fucking matters. I want to be represented. I want to see myself on screen. And no, like We Are Comics suggested to me, why do you need to see yourself in a fictional character to feel powerful? Wrong, nigga. I don't need to see myself in a fictional character to feel powerful. I don't need that. I don't wake up saying, damn, if only today I could see myself in a superhero. Today it'd get me through I don't need that. That's not something I need. But when I'm sitting and I'm paying money to go see, and you could say, well, don't pay the money. I don't have to. You're right. But when I'm paying the money to go to these theaters and I'm watching these movies that I'm invested in, I've been invested in since 2008. So fuck you when you say, well, just don't watch. Just don't watch. That's another thing. I'm just going. Sorry. For people saying, well, just don't watch, don't tune in, don't do this, don't do that. You don't have to watch. You're choosing to watch. You're damn right. I am choosing to watch. I don't have to watch. I don't have to tune in week to week. I don't have to give the money to the movie theater to go see these movies. I don't. But as I said before, I've been invested in this longer than 2008 when I saw Iron Man in theaters for the first time and catapulted this cinematic universe. But before the cinematic universe that all of you are privy to these characters from, there was the comic books. And that's where a lot of us got invested. So I'm invested in what the MCU is trying to tell. Even though it's rocky right now, I'm still invested. There are still stories I want to see played out. There are still characters I want to see stories resolved. There are still characters I want to see brought in. So yeah, I don't have to watch, but I am watching because I'm invested. So with that investment comes me continuing to tune in to some of the things within the MCU. But with that, we still want to see that recast of T'Challa. And it is that important because representation is that important. It does matter. I want to see myself on screen. Yes, I want to see myself on screen. But as I said, I don't need to see myself on screen to feel powerful. But when I'm watching these films and things like my white peers, I want to see myself just like they see themselves. There was a video sent to me this past week of a white little boy in a Black Panther costume. And he was so excited. Can I pull that up? I can probably pull that up. He was so excited. Let me pull that real quick. Hold on. All right. This kid was so excited to be in his Black Panther costume, to be T'Challa, to be able to, go around and represent as the Panther and all this kind of shit. And hold on, where's the no. Bring it back. Bring it back. What the fuck? You can't hear it. You're not gonna be able to hear it. But he was excited. The kid was excited to be Black Panther, excited to put on his costume and run around as the Panther and all this kind of stuff. So in this video, he's running around in his house and pretending to do missions and stuff like that to be the Black Panther. So why Darius are you showing this? There are a lot of little kids that want to be the Black Panther. Hell, when Chadwick Boseman passed, we saw video and pictures of all the little kids holding funerals for their action figures, which was morbid as fuck. If you really think about it, sad. I understand what the kids were doing, but the fact that they had to do that, holding funerals for their action figures for the Black Panther. I'm showing this to say that the Black Panther is not just important within the Black community. He is our Superman, but he's not just important within the Black community. that was proven with this video. It was proven with other things from the past. I told you guys that article that went around with the lady from 2018 when Black Panther film came out. She said her white son was getting teased because he wanted to be Black Panther for a while. He has become a household name. I've said that before too, like Tony Stark, like Spider-Man, like Captain America. He's become a household name. There are white kids wanting to be the Black Panther. Chadwick spoke on that. He said, you see it in sports, you see it in acting, you see it in other arenas, but you rarely see it where a white kid is picking up a book of a superhero and saying, I want to be the black one. I want to be him. This kid wants to be the black superhero. So what I'm saying is T'Challa has expanded and crossed those barriers. He has become a household name, not just a household name. He's busted out of the black culture. He's entering into other cultures as well. So for you to want to sideline this character and talking about back to Beau, talking about putting humanity before continuity. Okay, putting humanity before continuity. All right. So if we're putting humanity, and this is coming from Chill here. Chill had told, put this. I don't know if I would have thought about this or dug that deep into it to find this out. But obviously, you guys have heard me talk about Heath Ledger a lot when it comes to recasting. They, recasted the Joker. We have so many Jokers. In my opinion, Heath Ledger, still to this day, no one's touched that performance. But that does not mean I don't want to see other performances to where I can say, okay, you got close to Heath or you surpassed Heath or something like that. Can't have that conversation with T'Challa like you can with Spider-Man or any of the others that have been recasted multiple times. Heath Ledger passed in 2008. So if it was too soon and we're trying to put humanity before continuity, then why did Mark Hamill then, because this is just a voice. This is not live action. We're not having someone come in and portray T'Challa in live action. This was animated style. T'Challa didn't even, T'Chaka spoke. You didn't, he did speak, but you didn't have to make that T'Chaka to do that. If we're putting, again, humanity before continuity. Mark Hamill voiced the Joker the very next year that Heath Ledger passed in 2009 in the Arkham Asylum video game. So if that was okay, and X-Men 97 came out 3 years after his death, then why the fuck are you trying to sit here and still hit me with that humanity over continuity? So what you're saying is, no, we know it's T'Challa in continuity, but we just outright changed it because 3 years later it's still disrespectful, even in animated form, to put T'Challa on the screen. That again, 0 cents. Then something else that was brought up was from Chill was the What If episode. The What If episode in with T'Challa, where it was Chadwick Boseman's last performance, where he voiced him. It was his last performance as T'Challa. He voiced him, and a lot of people in the argument would be, well, that's the reason they shared that, because that was his last performance as T'Challa. Of course, they're going to put that out. Okay, sure, you can say that, but again, as I've said many times, we like to pick and choose what we take as fact from Chadwick Boseman. We do know that Chadwick Boseman, that was his last performance as T'Challa, voicing that while fighting cancer. But even in that, a lot of people will say, well, of course they did. It's Chadwick Boseman's last performance, blah, blah, blah. That's what he wanted. Ooh. So now we know what he wanted. So now you can say, oh, why? That's what he wanted. But anytime we show you video evidence of this man physically talking about what he wanted, it's dismissed. No. Someone told me I don't care what he said in that video. It's not what Disney and Marvel wants. So which is it? Are we defending Chadwick Boseman? Are we defending Disney and Marvel? Which one is it? Beau went on to say, because someone said something to him in reply, then he said, as I said, at the time, it didn't feel right. 3 years after his death, it didn't feel right. The same shit Kevin Feige said. It didn't feel right. Just a matter of respect. If it were today, I think the choice would may be different. Either way, trying to spin it as something other than what it is makes no sense. Yeah, I agree. The spinning it, trying to make it as something, trying to cover it up. So it's what we've all been saying. Beau coming out here saying this just honestly proves that there is some sort of mandate. There is some sort of blockage. There is some sort of gatekeeping being held with T'Challa as to the reason why we're not seeing him in animated form or in live action form. And as I've said before, I am hopeful. I just said this on Twitter. I am hopeful that we're going to see him in Avengers 5. I'm hopeful we'll see him in Avengers 6. They have to recast these characters for these stories. But as I've said before, I really don't think that T'Challa may stay. I think it's fleeting. I think it's for Avengers 5 and 6, and then they're going to continue on with their story that they have planned for the MCU with the kid. And if I'm wrong, I'd love to be wrong, but I do not believe that I am. So that's that right there is what some of the newest things about Beau, even with T'Challa, and so forth. So we have a while, I still say, before, and I think I said this too. If we do see a recast of T'Challa with Avengers 5 coming out and them start filming that in 2025, if he is going to be in that as a variant of some sort, we would start hearing casting rumors. Not anytime soon, but as we get closer to that time, 2025 summer, and the casting and all that kind of stuff, we would start hearing casting rumors, because obviously the person, whoever's playing him, if they do that, is going to have to do film. They're going to have to show up on set. They're going to have, it's all the production list, all that stuff. Those people are going to be on top of that shit. So we would know if that is true, but we'll have to wait to see if that is going to happen. But as far as anything goes, like we all thought 4 months ago, and we've all been saying since backing this hashtag, there is some fuck shit going on behind the scenes with T'Challa when it comes to Marvel. And it's not a thing of respect for Chadwick Boseman, I don't believe. I don't believe this is a thing out of respect for Chadwick Boseman, because as Beau Demayo said in the last thing he said there, if this were today, a different decision would be made. Well, it is today. And a different decision is not being made. They are still doubling down and tripling down on not recasting T'Challa. So it is today, and the same decision is still being made from Marvel Studios. So I know I normally come on. I don't typically come on here and give any hope for the recasting of T'Challa or anything like that, and I'm still really not. I don't see anything pointing toward that future there, but that is what. That's what Beau had to say, and that is the news there that I have on Beau, T'Challa, and everything else. I'll jump into some of these chats for a brief second here. As you know, it is obviously I wanted to jump on here with you guys, as I said at the very beginning of the stream, because it's been long overdue. There's been some things we need to discuss and other things like that. But of course, as much as I do love you all, I still have to go to work tomorrow. So I'll jump in some of these comments here and see what people are saying. Let's see. Oh, Brother Stark, thank you for the super chat. Didn't see that earlier. Thank you. Appreciate that. Let's see. Xavier said this is wild. Aunt Andre said, Beau, please stop. Let's see. Let me see. Xavier said, and they have the nerve to call us disrespectful. Right. Brother Stark said they retconned T'Challa by ignoring canon. Right. It first tried to tell us that no, it's not canon. But from what Beau just said, you knew it was canon. You lied to everyone 4 months ago by trying to fake this story like, oh, it's different timelines and this. You knew that. Okay. I'm gonna have to wrap this up. Sorry, I just got a text about T'Challa again, so I have to deal with him. He is fucked shit up out there. So let me finish these few comments, and then I gotta wrap this up. I gotta deal with his stupid ass. Xavier also said, at this point, I think people are just being willfully ignorant. D. Stizzle said, Beau Kugler. Raymond said, and the recast of T'Challa is growing as X-97. Yep. Lawrence Report said, they said y'all gotta support Sam before you gotta support T'Challa. Right. I think that's some crazy. Brother Stark also said, Sam ain't even the main character in his own movie. We're all going to see Red Hulk. Bingo. D. Sizzle said they could have simply not shown Wanda in X-Men 97. Let's see. Gray said the lie he used was from the online excuse that were said on the day the episode aired, and we all know anti-recasters, right? Let's see. D Sizzle said he's fronting like Chadwick voiced 90s animated T'Challa. Right, I'm telling you. Brother Stark said, I don't understand why everybody not advocating for T'Challa keeps using Chadwick's death as an excuse to not have any more T'Challa. Y'all really putting what you believe Chadwick would have wanted. Raymond said, yeah, the grief for outside Chadwick's circle is feeling weird and performative at this point. But I mean, I'm one to talk. Literally, I had to take a day. Yeah, but see, I would say that's a little different. Most of these people in the MCU only became fans to Chadwick Boseman after seeing him in Civil War. They weren't privy to his work prior to that. Prior to Tito Jackson's death and Michael's death, you were prior to a catalog of their work, or privy to a catalog of their work. Privy to not just a catalog of their work, stepped inside personal moments within their life. I mean, obviously, we followed Mike through the whole allegations and trials and this and that and the brothers and all this kind of stuff. So it's a little different for us as Michael Jackson fans. For those T'Challa MCU fans, that's only an 8-year relationship. Gray said, it wasn't too soon to use General Ross, though. I'm still it's still inconsistency. The inconsistency for me, right? G Sizzle said they announced X-97 in 2021, 1 year after Chadwick passed. Josh B said it was pretty crappy to have him be Black Panther knowing he was going to die. Disney really abused that. Zane Beto said Chad as James Brown was the best work in my opinion. Really, it was really good. Brian Fisher said, honestly, my favorite Chadwick Boseman movie is 21 Bridges. I like 21 Bridges as well. Let's see. Skipping through down to some of these. Sorry, I really got to get to T'Challa because I'm about to get him. D Stizzle said, dope superhero suits draw kids in. The Lawrence Report said, good points on the household name. Folks are scared. Yeah, I'm telling you, they are. They are. It's the scary fact that a black man, a black superhero that can't die, that's powerful over nation, moniker, all the monikers he is. It's scary. It's scary. It doesn't fit the narrative. Brother Stark said William Hurt died 2022 and Brave New World comes out in 2025. Humanity over continuity, but we still get a Red Hulk. Continuity over feelings is what D Stizzle said. Antonio Film said MCU's reasons are all BS. It's a successful product and still they have to have reasons to sideline the character, even changing canon to do it. Yep. And Brian says, so do you think Avengers 5 will be a T'Challa variant? I do. It'll be a variant. Now, will that variant stay along after the quiet or soft reboot? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. And then Raymond said, ain't nobody care about Sam that much. Yep. So, yeah. But, yeah, that's comments there. Somebody else, let me see. Caliber said, Disney has a platform. Sorry, I'm reading it back on this left screen. Disney has a problem with black alpha males. You can see this from T'Challa to Bradley to Kang. They do. It's an issue. It needs to be studied. Raymond also said, I think if they can't cast someone epic to play that variant and he kills people, we'll switch. Yeah. If they cast someone epic, sorry. He said if they cast someone epic. Yeah, possibly. Possibly so. Who knows? But guys, I appreciate it. Appreciate all you guys being here. I hate to really drop it like this and run, but he is torn shit up out there. As I told you, he does. I put him in his crate, but I didn't lock the bottom one in a rush. I thought the one top lock would hold him. But silly me, I 6 years, I should be privy to T'Challa's fucking bullshit. So since he is torn shit up, I've now got to go deal with that and then get ready to go to work tomorrow. I've said these things before. Like I said, I am moving and I'm trying to get a handle back on some normalcy in my life. It's really weird right now. I need to get back up and work out. Like I said, I work out. I work out daily, but it's my schedule is so thrown off. I'm trying to get back up in the mornings to I work out in the morning before I go to work, and then I have the evening to be able to either stream if it's a streaming day for me. And my streaming days, I know I've said all this stuff before, but I'm trying. It's just like I said, my life right now is a little topsy turvy with the move and lots of different other things. So I'm trying to find the time to fit some things in when I'm not making money for my move and different things like that. So right now, I want to go live on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. That's what I'm trying to do. Thursdays are the Pantheon streams. I would like to go live at least on the channel alone at least twice. And if I can't do that, then Mondays and Thursdays for sure. Mondays will be this try to do that this or not this Monday because I did it today. And the only reason I did it today is because I was going to DoorDash today because I'm again making that money. I don't know if any of y'all do that. It's good, really good side money. But I was going to go DoorDash, but it flooded down here and it was fucking, I wasn't taking my car out in that shit. So I was like, well, let me just move the stream now. So just do it now so we can go 4 hours, however long we need to go. So tomorrow I'm going to get out there and make that money. But on Wednesday, I'm going to stream. And then on Thursday, again, I'm streaming with the Pantheon, and that is Chillin' Marcus. So next Monday, look for me to be streaming on Mondays and Thursdays with the Pantheon. Mondays by myself, possibly on Wednesdays if I can, and then Thursdays with the Pantheon. So trying to do the two, for sure going to do the one, and then for sure the one with the Pantheon stream. So trying to get all that together. Again, this view right here of my channel, which you guys can see from my camera. If you could see my studio, everything is like it's a mess. Shit's off the walls. Things are getting packed up. Things are in boxes. I don't move until November or December, whichever one. But I'm not a winter person. I hate the cold, and I know whoever's going to be helping me move is going to be listening to me bitch about hauling boxes and all this shit from new house to new house in the cold. So if I just have it all boxed up now to where I ain't got to do shit but put it in and go, less bitching on my end, less people listen to me complain. So I'm trying to get all that together and trying to get my new studio together so I can really hit this shit hard. But like I said, Monday, look for it. Thursday, next Monday. Wednesday, look for it this week. Wednesday and Thursday, following me, Monday and Thursday. And we will be here. So appreciate every single one of you hanging out with me this evening. Yes, I am staying in the same state, just moving houses. My landlord is selling. I've been here 4 years and she is selling the house. And so I'm going to move. So yeah, I'll still be in the same state, but I don't want to be. I would like to move out of the state, but yeah, I'm here. So again, appreciate every single one of you, everybody that sent the super chats, and that was from Kenny and Brother Stark. I definitely appreciate you both for that. Very kind, Kenny. Very, 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 very good to see you, brother. I don't know if you're still in here, but definitely was good to see you, and everybody else as well. So I'm going to be back with you guys Wednesday. See you on Thursday as well. I'm sure there will be news in between that time before we meet again. So again, appreciate all of you guys. Let me go deal with T'Challa's stupid ass. And I love you all very much. Like, subscribe, share with your friends, and I will see all of you in the next video. Peace out.